push a mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work like I got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test, expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second, this life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing, new focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession, you got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take a redemption, just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon, 11-11, it's time for progression,
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me, look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy, bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me, muddy hands break through the chains, go free me, people like sheep move feet, hurt it easy, you don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheme, better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me, when they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test, expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second, this life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing, new focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession, you got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take a redemption, just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon, 11-11, it's time for progression,
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me, look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy, bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me, muddy hands break through the chains, go free me, people like sheep move feet, hurt it easy, you don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming, better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me, when they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna be
morning, good afternoon, and good evening. More importantly, blue morning to you. I hope you're all doing well. Just when I thought maybe Leeds United will be easier to play against than they were during the regime of Marcelo Bielsa, it turns out they're even better right now. They have balance their, their attack and defense. Again, they play a very high octane football, and at the same time, they were able to defend it perfectly. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yeah, in case you missed it, I have it on the screen so you can see it again. Like I've said before, again, just when I thought, oh, maybe, just maybe they don't play high octane football anymore, they'd be easier to play against. It turns out they're even better right now. They approach the game in a balance, that is, they have a balanced approach. They can defend. They can also hit you with a blistering speed. You can't even stop them. Again, we were startled by the pace of their football, their energy. We couldn't match them. Again, wow. There's I argue no player stood out for me from Chelsea's perspective. But that's, by the way, I will start by going up through the chat to say hello to those there, because it is a tradition here. We're a community now. We're more like a family. Again, it's grown beyond the channel to a community. So let me see how everybody in the chat, how you're all doing. And as you're coming in, please keep liking the video. Right now, we already have 14 likes. Let's see if we can get it to 400 likes today, but it's up to you. So thank you very much for joining today. We'll have some conversation to figure out what really happened to us, because it was an embarrassing defeat. Why didn't Mendy just fall off football? Again, that's not a question I can answer. I say it's a phantom of many topics. Again, why? Yep, I've read that. And Joker says, now just sign up Maguire. Yeah, and it will all be fun. Yeah, I get it. I get the sarcasm there. But again, it was really embarrassing. Blue morning, Kachila and panel and chat. Blue morning to you too, Liam Lennon. I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know you're well. Again, I've shared the link to our sister channel. There we're at around 61 subscribers right now. Please do take a minute to go subscribe to our sister channel to help us reach 100 as soon as possible to unlock a very important feature there. Liam Lane says, I haven't been as down about the team as I am this morning in a long while, simply because I cannot see any way out of the mess we are in. It is not just the loss yesterday, but the inconsistency. Again, this has been the same about since, again, it's been 5 years now. When you think we'd mop the floor with the team, boom, you see the worst performance from our team. And I think we lack character. Yes, we still have the likes of Cesar Azpilicueta, and we have Raheem Sterling in the attacking area, but it doesn't look like he has that character himself. It looks like when the rest of the team underperforms, he joins the boss. Again, we'll get into it gradually. Please let me know. A bit of an accident right now with my audio equipment. Let me know if it's still good, if you can still hear me. I'd appreciate that. I've been asked, Coach, I am controlling myself not to speak a lot. I don't want to discuss Tuchel anymore and be called a plastic fan. But I also don't want you to scroll down too much. Yeah, I get it. Again, and I hope the panel also talks about the new signings were also not that good yesterday. Well, we'll talk about it. And again, I'll let you know whose fault I think it is that the team overall underperformed, because I'll say this, but I'll talk about it in detail later on in the show. Again, we matched Leeds United. We matched them tempo for tempo, pace for pace, however you want to phrase it, until that first goal. and then you see players, should I say, slouching or like the shoulders down. You know, the character with nobody. There's no character in that team. Cucurella and Sterling both missed quite some chances yesterday. An experienced player like KK, made two stupid mistakes, and that's 3 times he did that. The one was, I think, I don't know if it was the game against Everton or during the second game. That he could have been carded for that too, but the referee didn't see it again. So he did it twice. Maybe because he got away with the one he did in the previous game, he thought he could do it again and get away with it. But let's all just blame Mendy and Georgie because they are not Tuchel's assigning. Blame every single one. Again, you could argue that. You could argue that. CFCOG, if you're watching me, please put a shirt on, bro. Do you have a shirt on? I don't think you have one on. Again, here we have I've been up. Yes, again, Cuckoo's chance was again. And who is our set piece trainer? I can do a better job. Yeah, I can. If you, I don't know. We were told that Anthony Barry that he's one of the best set piece trainers. In the Premier League. I don't know what has happened with West. Was it against Everton? We had about 1 million corner kicks and couldn't score a quarter goal from it. Not even hit the ball on target. The inconsistency of players within the squad is alarming. And now you can see the new players are falling into the same problem as the ones before them. And I am not another few. Again, here's the thing: we lack leadership. We lack character. We lack that. We lack that. You could say metal mentality or spine in the team, and it's showing everywhere. Once we concede a single goal, it's usually difficult to come back. It's not like we don't have that team anymore where you'd say, even if we're 2-0 down, you still be hopeful we can get the goals back and even beat the opponent. Just quickly, MC OG, CFC OG, let me try and catch up with what we have in the chat. Silva and Cucurella had 2 average games yesterday. The rest were below average. Yes, in the case of Silva, I think we respect him too much because of his pedigree. Now, usually people shy away from criticizing him. I think, we've been seeing his decline actually has been rapid. But I think the performances of other players masks his mistakes, his positional mistakes and all that quite a lot that we don't call him out more often than we should. How can I come off loan from Fulham if Fulham FC is higher than Chelsea on the table? Yeah, as you answer that question alone, I fought to hit the like button. You still made it to the Champions League. Mount, Havertz, Sterling, Jorginho, Gallagher were all shocking. I used to like Jorginho, and Jorginho, again, the issue is that he only does well when you pair him in that double six role alongside a player who's more defensively minded than he is. Then our defense wouldn't be exposed to that much. But he was awful yesterday. Again, ineffective, to say the least, if you want to say it that way. Again, let's be honest. This is not about an individual. It's a whole team. Yep, the team lacks a character. And managers' tactics were horrible. I know most will say Mendy, but this is the manager's instructions with his back pass to non-playing goalkeeper. Again, Mendy he actually hasn't been. I don't know. Let me just shut up. When we get to that, we'll talk about it. Again, the whole team was shocking. That is an understatement. Actually, they were indeed shocking. What else do we have here? You know what? More inconsistent than the team, the fans. You could argue that too. The Mendes goal was worse than a capacity. Again, versus Liverpool in the 2021 opener. Good morning, everyone. Chama Yosef, good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Looks like you have a bit of time before you leave for work today. I blame Thomas Tuchel. How can he tell me Ronaldo is not good to play for Chelsea? You go ask him that. I'm not going to be the one to answer that question for him. Just here for an hour, then off to work. I understand bills don't pay themselves, but thank you for finding time to spend a bit of time with us. That means a lot to the channel. Good morning. It's saying hello to Liam Lane. Abhinav says, Arsenal looks much better than us. You can think they might have failed later, and they might but they look much better than us. Yeah, they look much better than us at this point. I think we have a lot of the issues in our team. It runs deeper than most people know. We have to sort out something in the midfield area, more importantly, because the chance creation there is very predictable. It's always from the flanks and always on the carpet but we should do something. There's no the R26s, 2 8s. They again the poorest. Oh, again, how do I phrase it to make sense of it? Their creativity in terms of creating chances from the central area is next to -0, if you want to say, if you allow me to say it that way. Again, blue morning to you too, Queen of the House. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you, Just Viola. I hope you're well. Again, big up Matthew Lee Benjamin. Big up to you too, brother. Nice to see you that you have time to join us today. I'm trying to catch up, but it looks like the chat is really on fire. I'm going to stop here for a while. Again, if you're watching and if you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, I'm going to go to my brother here, MCCFC OG. He's on vacation, but he's found time to join us. Brother, how are you doing? You're on mute. It looks like you're on mute.
Yes, sorry about that. I said I'm good now. I'm good. I recovered. Man City 3-3, that helped me recover. It was an entertaining game. They dropped points. It's not just us, But Leeds played well.
But they didn't lose.
Huh? No, they didn't lose. We didn't even lose. We got battered. It was like 3-1, 2. It was 3-0. They can't got a fourth. That would have really made it look bad. But honestly, I think Leeds played well. Let's not all complete. No one said this so far. No one's saying Leeds played well. Let's give them their props. Well done, Leeds. You guys played very well. Keep up the energy, guys.
A deserved win for them.
They better not just. I hate it when teams show up against Chelsea and the next week they lose against Bournemouth or something. They're like, what happened last week? But yeah, I could see that happening. Obviously, the Premier League is unpredictable. Oh man, it's emotional, man. To be honest, because you can't.
I get your argument that the Premier League is unpredictable, but did you see Man City? Did you see the fight?
No, come on. Just the fact that we ran half of what they ran. That I was like, how can usually it's different kilometers half? I was like, that's crazy. What were we doing? Just sitting there watching them.
Yeah, again, I have to be honest, as much as I love Tuchel, the fact that we weren't able to match them, again, throughout the game, as in cover as much ground as they covered, it comes down to the approach, not really the personnel. Because if you have, again, I don't know what happened when Tuchel took over Chelsea Football Club. Again, our players, it looks like they upped their energy on the pitch. If you waste a second on the ball, you'd have 2-3 Chelsea players on you. But that changed over time. And it will be awful playing against teams that play as, a high-octane football like Leeds that press us aggressively. We struggle. Even with a few changes in the team, the issue persists. And that's, again, that it's worrisome because teams will pay attention to what happened to us yesterday. They will know, all you got to do is just press them. Well, this is not the first time. It happened last season against Man City twice. It happened against Brighton. We struggled. Yeah, we struggled. Even against Wolves, we struggled. They press us aggressively and press us strategically. We struggled. So teams will start paying attention that's our Achilles heel. Maybe again, maybe it's Tuchel, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just intentionally saying we don't need midfielders. We do need midfielders. We need midfielders. We need people who are naturally eights. We can't get away with playing wingers as eights all the time. They've been faltering. Yes.
If he says to you, I need the midfielders because the team's just full of midfielders. So it's turning to all the majority of people in his squad. The majority of the people getting paid in Chelsea are midfielders. So they turn around and tell him, I need the other guys. They're going to look at him. It's going to be very awkward, Honestly, it makes me sad because it's like, is no one destined to stay at Chelsea for long? Is it not meant to be? Is it just a curse or something that we have to get new managers and win trophies? Was Abramovich right? Did he know? I thought maybe Mourinho in round 2 will do another 3, 4, 5 years.
Mourinho will eventually, come back to Chelsea Football Club. If you hear him speak about the club, I think he's setting the grounds for that to happen in the future. We'll see what happens. Let me see what else we'll have in the chat. Soon we'll start looking at the statistics again, it was an awful performance. That same old issue persists. It hasn't gone away. But more importantly, overall, no character in the team. When we were 2 goals down, I started asking the question: has there actually been a time under Thomas Tuchel where we were 2 goals down, we were able to come back, even draw, or let alone win the game? It hasn't happened for, again, especially if we're if we're losing before the half. Again, it just doesn't make sense. Big up, guys. Big up to you too. And Shama Yosef says all teams have improved, so we better upgrade. Again, I think keeping the players we have right now will not solve. The only players we have right now will not solve the problem. We need changes needs to be made in all departments in the midfield area. I think you could say maybe Sterling alone won't do it in the attacking area. We need to bring in another player because it doesn't look like Sterling, as good as he is. He doesn't have that character. I didn't see him. Yes, you did get the service, as much service as you should, but I didn't see you push harder than usual. It's again, overall, it was, wow, heartbreaking to watch. Max, yesterday ran like a lightning bolt, and it was concerning for City. How did we miss him? I don't know. I just don't know. Again, are you talking about St. St. Maxima? I still don't want him at Chelsea, even as good as he did yesterday. I have to tell you that. But if the manager wants him, let him get him. All I want is let's fix the problem. Let's fix the problem. It's as simple as that. Again, it's if we go into the season with this same issue, it will get worse because teams will now see, okay, this is actually the best way, to approach the game against this guy to get them to struggle to play. And there are evidence to prove it for any manager who's looking to how to beat Chelsea.
I mean, it's what people were saying to me yesterday. It's basically the championship to you. They lower league. I mean, Liverpool's not going to fight us. They're very, they got short players. They're not really aggressive. Neither are Man United. They got no. It's the certain teams, like you said, Wolves, Leeds, Brighton. They have the hunger and they're the physical. Exactly, in British football is in their DNA. So it's not good for us, really. But sorry, carry on.
Yeah, again, we need a Brendan Rodgers playing system in attacking. Tuchel don't know to defend well and to attack quick because we have Kai Havertz, a very cool, slow striker, but sometimes a monster in big games only. I don't need, again, Tuchel actually, it's the other way around. Tuchel actually is very defensive minded, if you don't know. Again, he's a master at building a defensive team. The issue again is deeper than just him. We're also being quicker in transition to get to the opposition's half when we get the chance. But the issue lies deeper. We will get to it in a bit. Let me just oblige those in the chat for a while. Again, we have 26 likes. If you're watching and you haven't liked the video, and also do subscribe to the channel. Blue morning to you all. Hopefully we have all recovered from that. It's not that simple. I haven't recovered actually. Again, TT teams setup will never win the marathon EPL, which needs a consistency and capitalization on small teams. It's a defensive setup to win cup competitions only. So you agree that Tuchel is good at setting up his team to defend well, but in terms of again, there's an issue here. I wouldn't say that's his problem. He's an attacking-minded manager at the same time. But I think there's a problem that we have to try to figure out what it is exactly this morning. Kachila, good morning. And the Chelsea fan, good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Emma James is saying a big up the OG man. Big up to you too. Again, Chama says, I understand. I couldn't take it too. We underestimated Leeds. That's the mentality. That's a mentality thing. I think some of us call it a charity FC. We underperform when we play mid-table teams or bottom-table teams. But when the bigger the occasion, you see a much better Chelsea team. I want that to change. Why do you think that is MCOG? Why has that been the issue for the past 5-6 years?
It's something to do with the players. I mean, these players are used to big occasions. They've been to so many finals. That's almost like they're treating life in that way. Oh, this is just whatever, Sheffield, Sunderland, we don't care. Yeah, we're playing a big team now, top 6, top 7. We're playing in a group competition or Champions League. Let's do this. That's what it seems to be. It's actually scary because it's gonna run out. We're not gonna keep making finals, and we're also gonna finish out of the top 4. If that combination happened, it's not fine. If you're going to the finals and you're finishing top 4, it looks good on paper. But if you're not going to the finals, you're not doing well in the competition, which I think this year is going to be found out in a lot of the competition. I don't think we're going to see 2-3 finals like we used to, and the league's not looking good, man. But these players have become used to it, I think, because as you said in the beginning,
so you think it's a mentality thing?
Yeah, that's it. They become used to big games, finals. They're like, oh, let's just wait for the big games, and I don't know, man. We need a big shake-up, a big one. I mean, we're going to win the next game, but it's just going to be out of a reaction. And then how about the game after that? Are we going to sleep again? Are we going to become Charity FC again?
It's looking like we're going to become that. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It looks like that's what was going to... Let me ask you this quickly. This comment on the screen says Tuchel's favoritism is starting to draw back the team. We need a competition for places... But these are lots to take things seriously. Some are relaxed, knowing that they will be picked regardless of the performance. Do you think that's the case? It's looking like it. I wouldn't argue against anybody that argues as such, because it's starting to seem as if that's the case.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the week. This is the week. If we don't see 3 key changes, Havertz has to go. He has to sit on the bench. Mendy also needs to be on the bench. And... I don't know. We gave a few players chances this week, like Ziyech did come on and we get certain players did not want to come on from the bench. I thought we had more hungry people on the bench, like Hudson-Odoi telling Tuchel, put me on. It doesn't even seem we have that. I don't seem like we need to get much more players if we want to create that hunger. But this is the week. If he doesn't make changes this week, Mendy, Kai, certain man needs to get kicked out. Even Reece might need to use a day rest.
Yeah, Rodrigo, big up, brother. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, oh, good. Big up.
Let's get you up to where we are right now. Looking at the comment on the screen, do you sense favoritism? But I think Ty talks. We've talked about that before. How Tuchel, in some positions, he has favorites, and those favorites they have to break a leg or an arm before he takes them off, or maybe gets. Just in the case of Mason Mount this past season. He got mentally tired, and fans realized he was mentally tired. He would be on the pitch. You see him run for 90 minutes. You still see that energy. But in terms of decision making, you see that this guy is mentally tired before he dropped him on the bench. And he was helpful. When he returned, he became better. But do you think he has a favorite? Really? It looks the same to me.
Oh, first of all, you have to look at the bench. We don't have anyone. I know you. Okay, we'll drop Kai for Wu. That's what we need. That's what we need to buy players. We need to buy competent players that can compete with these players. Because right now, yes, you can drop Kai Havertz, you can drop Mason Mount, but we don't have the players to come in. It's good to say, yeah, let's drop Reece James, but who's gonna come in? We don't our squad right now.
The defense, we could switch that about, but. I mean, you're right. They're not hungry. No one on the bench is saying, "Boss, put me on."
We don't have anyone on the bench. We don't have a striker on the bench because Bro is injured. So in a formation that he's playing, to have that obviously he's playing with a false 9 to even have enough players on the pitch. I don't think we have that. We don't have enough players on the pitch to for him to drop people. So I'm looking at him funny this week. He's saying, "Wow, I was so disappointed." He said, "Oh, we don't need midfielders."
In that, can I come in quickly? Him saying we don't need midfielders. You have to be sure you're able to get in midfielders before saying publicly, "Yes, we're looking for midfielders because the ones we have are bad." It's a risk.
You need defenders. He publicly said that.
Yeah, but because we defenders have left, so he can say that publicly. So it's a risk. That's how I see the midfield thing. Yeah. Why are we going after the young if we don't need midfielders? He knows we're going after the young. The argument there is you can't say. It looks like it's looking like it's going to be very difficult with getting midfielders. So he must be cautious what he says in the public. You can't say yes, we're looking for midfielders, which means you're saying the ones we have is bad.
Yeah, the favoritism bit, the question asked here, yeah, it's just because the bench is not good enough. I agree. Then we need to drop some of these players. I want them to be dropped. I don't want to see Havertz playing again until he fixes up. But who's gonna come on? So say we drop because Breuer is injured, right? So you drop Havertz, then what? We don't have players. We don't have enough players. We let go of
players, man. We always have someone hidden away somewhere. We just have to, we've got a lot of use as well.
Woo! Give me names.
Yeah, give us name, OG. That's it. This is not Pokemon Go. Now you gotta start. He didn't win
for the Leicester game. Yeah,
full 90 minutes. First thing first. Another one that should be given a chance here is because Gilmore, if he's going to be leaving, might as well throw him out there. Mount just looks tired, like very, very tired.
But the name he mentioned is an 8. Yeah, we're talking about the 8th area. I know, I get your argument. If we look deep, we can always find someone. But would they do a better job?
I mean, true,
that's the question we need to answer.
Yeah, I mean, why are we not giving these players the chances?
Whoa.
Yeah, who exactly, OG? I love you, brother, but give us names.
I'm naming people, understand. Obviously, Chuamenko, we signed him. You think we'd have played him by now? We got Kante injured.
Not as an 8, not as an 8 or closing on number 9. I think his process will be gradual. It will take time. We're not going to see him soon, but I think once he comes into the team, he's going to be there to stay. I think it's that good.
I think Tuchel needs to start working on a different formation, different approach to
maybe he's still waiting for some profile of players to come in before that. But go ahead with what you were saying. Go ahead with what you were saying, Rodrigo.
Yeah, now just my final point on this, and I let someone else go. Yeah, I was saying he needs to look at the squad and try to figure out, because what we have a Frankenstein squad, we have a monster squad, we have players from managers that have left 5 seasons ago. So this is where I'm still fighting against people that say Tuchel out, because we're gonna go back into that cycle. We need to keep this manager enough time to clear the squad, because we have players that play for Mourinho, for Sarri, for Lampard, that don't fit in what he's trying to do. He can't go to a back 4. He has to stick to this back 3, because the back 3 at least give you some semblance of defensive. But it is not. It doesn't. Watch one Chelsea attack. I always count the number of players you see in the box. We hardly have anyone in the box, which is ridiculous. When you watch Leeds, any Premier League teams, they have people in the box because they've managed to work on formation and tactics that allows them to do so. But we can't, because we have players for different systems. So hopefully we have a week, maybe 10 days or a week left. So I hope we go in the market and sign 3 players, and to have some so we can see something different. It's so frustrating to see Chelsea falling apart in week 3.
Yeah, we will come back to that argument. I'm gonna go to IBZ. Big up, bro. I knew even if you don't have time, this is one fight you want to be. You want to be part of. How are you doing, brother?
I'm all good, man. Big up, everyone.
Yeah. Nice to see you, and I'm glad to hear that you're all good. What do you think about the game? And again, let's bring you up to part 2. But if you want to start with what do you think about the game overall, and if the panelists will still come in, tell us what they think about the game overall. We'll look at the stats, and then we'll go into rating the player. And Rodrigo, sorry, I forgot to ask you that question first. Yeah, go ahead, IBZ.
So, this weekend, defeat came in threes for me. Anthony Joshua, Kamaru Usman, and my beloved Chelsea. So it was written in the stars, you can argue, that I wasn't going to have a weekend of happiness. I kind of saw it again. Leeds, they need a bounce back. What do I feel of the game? Inevitable. Why was I surprised? I watched every single goal going and I did not react. It was like clockwork. It's hard, It's very hard to dissect it. there's a lot of things you can argue. Players out of position, mentality, quality, lack of
character.
Yeah, there's quite a lot to argue. One thing, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon. There's a realization that I've had in it, but I'm not going to share it because it may breed negativity. I'll let it breathe for a few weeks, then come out. I'll leave it to the end of the transfer window and come
on, easy. Come on.
I'm not. No. I'm not going to say up. But what needs to happen? What needs to happen is Tuchel needs to address the players he needs ASAP. He needs to get the players he needs ASAP, so that we can be ready to compete. We are not ready to compete. We had to match the energy of last week because obviously it's a derby, so we had to, and it was a home game, so we had to turn up. But theoretically, the players we have or the style we are using, it's not going to help our cause. So it's very hard to dissect now. If you want to go back to where I initially accepted the fate of our season this year, the destiny is top 6, yeah? Anything above top 6 is a bonus or a miracle. Obviously, we haven't got the right players in place for us to challenge where we want to be. We are behind. Our squad is not as good as, let's have it right, Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester City, and I'm not even worried about Liverpool because they will bounce back. We are imbalanced in our squad, and it's not helping our cause. Now, Thomas Tuchel will have to address it quickly because obviously the transfer window is going to close in a week or so, and he may need to bring in the players ASAP because we are lacking in the striker, midfielders now to cover for Kante and Kovacic, 2 players who are key in our midfield, and we obviously we didn't have them and we were overrun. I have seen Jorginho being overrun like that, but Jorginho was just being overrun. There was nothing. Gallagher, he was just running at scraps and losing. It was all over the place. So it's a lot to dissect. What I do understand, or what I do know from this, is that Tuchel needs to get his players in quickly before he is judged again on players that are not his. Obviously, you could argue Koulibaly and Sterling are in, but Koulibaly and Sterling are not dead. They are not. I can't rest my laurels on them to transform our destiny this season. This is effectively still the same squad from last season, so the problems hasn't changed. So players need to come in. Quality needs to come in. Now, if that doesn't happen, we have to accept where we are. And I've accepted that I'll probably be top 6 this season because we haven't got the minerals to put the people in place to get the things that we need to be done, i.e. Tuchel getting his war chest ready. And it is what it is. It's fine. Another argument we could argue is that Tuchel needs to he may need to bite the tongue and change his formation around. If he may need to change his formation around to get the best out of what he needs. Playing players out of position consistently will break you, bro. And it's evident. So I don't want to. I'm not too caught out. Not at all. But I do think he needs to adjust a few things. It's good that it's early, so we see the problems now than later. That we say, okay, yeah, we've been all right, we've been fine. No, the problem is evident, and it's now evident now. The problems were evident against Spurs. It was evidence against Everton. It was evidence against Leeds. So hopefully, before the next week or so, we see signings come in that we can, midfielder and strikers and wing backs, all of that. Everyone needs to get signed. So that's where I am. If you want to ask me, what do I feel, Thomas? I can't give a. I can't. Maybe I haven't taken it in yet.
Do you sense any? Again, before I say that, I want to say any argument. Any argument saying Tuchel out. Again, you don't have. Again, it will be baseless because he doesn't have his team yet. No matter how
exactly.
you see it,
That's
do I
exactly
think it's perfect? I don't think it's perfect. Like you mentioned. Playing players out of position consistently will blow up on his face, and that's going to be a big problem. But the question I want to ask you, do you sense any measure of favoritism from him regarding any particular player?
Favoritism, yeah and no. Favoritism or trust. There's players he trusts, and the players he's got to play players that may not be good enough. I mean, we're not privy to behind the scenes. We're not privy to the fitness. We're not privy to fitness tests.
Just quickly, that's a delicious comment right there, because it's easy to mix them both.
No, you understand.
It could be trust. No, I'm saying you said something that makes perfect sense. It could be trust, and people are seeing it as favoritism. It could be that particular player was seen as being his favorite. He just trusts them to help him implement what he wants. But go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, who he trusts is not helping him doing any justice. So we're going to question his trust in the players that he's put out there, and we're going to narrate it in however we want to narrate it, like saying, "Oh, Tuchel has favourites and he's not trusting this person, this one." We can paint it how we want to paint it. At the end of the day, he has players he trusts. Every manager has players they trust. But when results don't go your way, you're going to be questioned as to, "Oh, are you sure you trust that guy, bro? Is that guy? Are you sure you got that guy?" And we are going to question because we see other players that could play in that position. Again, he needs to go out, or he needs to be backed extensively. Again, I don't want to go into the transfer, how we spent our money or where we should have spent our money, because we didn't have a director of football and people in place in the first place. So we haven't got the liberty to say, "Oh, why is this?" No. At the end of the day, we got a manager who's playing that DOF role and a man that has no footballing experience doing our transfer. So we are getting what we signed up for in this situation. So we just have to put up with it. But what I'm saying is we just need the right people in place in terms of players to fill in the positions that we're lacking, coach. I've been screaming for a striker since May, April. People are saying, "Kai Havertz, are you blind?" I said, "But this guy's not a striker," almost making me believe that what I'm thinking is stupid. So, and it's not. So when you see things like this, you're like, hang on, it needs to be addressed. I'm hearing Aubameyang deals off. We're going in for Morata. I don't know. I heard Morata's name linked yesterday. I'm just saying, this is where we are.
This is serious.
This is where we are now. Now, we have to accept our fate and accept that it's a slow transition. And this manager will need to clear out his team before he can bring in and implement his own. And it's going to take time. So we just have to stick in for the ride. I don't know where our direction is going, coach. I can't tell you. I can't tell you our results against. I can't tell you a result against Leicester. I don't know how we're going to do in Champions League. I do not know. What I do know is that we need players in now that needs to play in the position. So we can't be playing players out of position. I can't have Reece James as a right centre back if he's a right wing back. I can't do it. I don't care what anyone says. I've never seen him play there. He's never played there for Wigan. When he came through, he never played there. He's been always on the right. So I don't want to hear someone tell me that they have some scout report telling me that he can play right centre back. It's nonsense. He doesn't play there. So you get a right centre back to play there. Because obviously when it comes to height, you saw the height with him and Rodrigo getting missed. So why, as a right centre back, why did he not win that header? Obviously because he hasn't got those minerals to adapt to that role. I'm not saying he's a bad player or he can't play in that position, but that's not his natural position. So you're going to see the inabilities to act in that position. That's just normality. So get the players in, play them in their position. I'm tired of all this. He can play there. He can play there. He can play there. No, he can't. He can't. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Again, that's a brilliant contribution from you as always. I want to go to Ty. Before I go to Ty, we have 101 people watching. If you haven't, take a second to like the video. Let the mods please keep liking, telling people to like the video. And if you see any new person here, encourage them to like the video. If you see fans that are not Chelsea fans, tell them about the sister channel where we can talk about their club. Again, I'd really appreciate that. I want so that I can talk less and less about people liking the video and concentrate on hosting the show. If you haven't, please keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ty, coming to you, your thoughts overall on the game, and do you sense any measure of favoritism? You let us know. I think you could argue it's favoritism coming to what IBZ says. Again, if the player you're trusting isn't performing and you're still fielding that player, then everybody who sees it has every right, to call it favoritism. But go ahead, Ty.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay. I hate when I'm right about things that end up being bad for Chelsea. But everything that I said yesterday is exactly what happened. I spoke about Ruben Loftus-Cheek not being a right wing back, and people were telling me that, oh, he can play there. And I made the point that even if you're playing in a role where in Tuchel's system you have to be attacking, you still need to be able to defend. And we saw the fact that when you play somebody who is attacking minded in a defensive role, they can't do it. And yeah, he worked against Spurs, but I made 2 points about the fact that even then he was still being he was already being beaten on that side because he's not good defensively. And that's what happens. I'm not gonna blame him because I know that's the situation. And in the pre-game show, and I also said that don't underestimate Leeds. You need to focus on that left side for Leeds, right side for us. And that's where they hurt us, the left side. And you know, it's hilarious because everything that I said was the opposite happened. And even with Gallagher, I said I didn't want him to play in this 6, and people were saying that he had no other choice. If you're going to experiment with somebody, experiment with Ampadu, because Ampadu can actually play as a DM. That's where he plays for his country. That is where he plays when he went on loan. Play him there. If you're going to experiment, although I'm not all for it, you do that. Simply do that. And you know, I think Rodrigo is making this point as well when I came on about he needs to find the best thing that suits this team. And what I see him doing right now is he's playing the system that he wants to play when he gets his players. And you can't do that because you have approximately 25 people in your squad. And of those 25, 3 of those players are the players that you brought in or players that you wanted to see come in. 22 of those players don't suit what you want to do. Or rather, I can't say 22. Probably 14 of those players don't suit what you want to do. Mason Mount, you utilize them. Havertz, you utilize them and things like that. All the other players, you inherited those players. And a lot of them don't suit what you want to do. Ziyech is not for your system. Find a solution that suits each player right now, or find some solution that can get the best out of most of those players that you have inherited, like you were doing when you first came in. And then when you start to get your own players, then you can introduce it. That is why I said we wasted preseason for the wrong reasons. When he was experimenting with Gallagher as a 6 and doing nonsense, he should have been using a way to say that, okay, right now we're not getting much players in from the transfer market. Let me see what I can do just in case I can get all the players that I want, so I can start to show what my system is all about, so people can understand my style of play. I did not see that. All I'm seeing is us experimenting, playing Gallagher as a 6 when it's pretty obvious that he's an 8, and we just did the total opposite. And I have to agree with what IBZ said. When I saw those goals go in, I felt no way. I was like, yeah, you know what? 1-0 Leeds, 2-0 Leeds, 3-0 Leeds. Congratulations, you deserve that win. I really could care less because all I was seeing was everything that I was saying was going to happen. Gallagher is not a 6. He kept losing the ball. And I'm not going to blame him because he's being misprofiled. He's not a 6. And Tuchel is still utilizing him when he has players that he could experiment in that 6 role because they've played as a 6 in the past. Do that. Don't play players who are not 6 in a defensive role when they're offensive. That is like saying you're going to play a goalkeeper in the attack. They're a defensive player. You can't play somebody who is the opposite of that role in a role that they're not good in. And I'm not angry at Gallagher because I know that this was going to happen. And people were telling me that, oh, he's so similar to Kante. He's nothing like Kante. If Kante made a mistake, he would have tried his hardest to get back the ball. And most of the time, he gets back the ball. We don't see that with Gallagher because Gallagher is not physical enough to do that. He lost the ball.
It's not even about physicality. It's about the ability to read the game. Yes, Gallagher can put in some great tackles. Every now and then you see him, he's physical. Yeah, he's you could say he's aggressive. But being a 6, the primary responsibility, the primary, you could say, ability you have to be able to fulfill the 6 role very well. If we're talking about the Kante role, is to read the game, be at the right place at the right time, break up opposition play. Gallagher, to me, he's way too in a hurry all the time. There's no, he doesn't have the ability to even slow the game down when it's needed. He's always like this, in a hurry like this. And if he had kept it simple yesterday, as simple as possible yesterday, believe me, you wouldn't even know he's not a 6.
Yeah.
That was going to always be the case, because what you just highlighted is the reason why he's not a 6. That is the profile of an 8. That's what an 8 does. They try to move the ball as quick as possible so they can create an attacking chance. That is not.
But you have to do it with strategically, not all the time. Not all the time that you try. In most cases, when he tries it, he loses the ball. But go ahead, Ty. You're making some great points there.
Yeah, that's the point. That is why you don't do it, and it's not the first time. We did it in preseason. That is the point I'm making. Arsenal, we did it against Arsenal, and then what happened? Jorginho went up. He was isolated, and it was 3-1. Mendy stopped that chance. That is why when you see that, that should be an indication that you cannot be playing somebody. And then in the second half, when he was more advanced, we saw what he could do. We saw the Gallagher that can actually offer something, not the greatest, but can offer you something. And that is what I'm saying, that I'm happy that you brought that up, because as a 6, you need to be able to slow the tempo down. Even Kovacic is an offensive player as well.
But he's able to do that, yeah.
Exactly. That is why I'm saying that none of these midfielders that we have, other than probably Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho, have the ability to slow down the game. Everybody else is offensive-minded. Loftus-Cheek, attacking-minded. Gallagher, attacking-minded. Mount, attacking-minded. We don't have anybody in this team that can slow down the tempo, even if it's once a game. We can't do that.
Just quickly, Ty, bring it to the aspect where the question we were addressing. And before that, if you haven't, I have my brother CFC Fahim highlighted on the screen. I couldn't scroll, but beyond him without asking you to go check out his channel. Believe me, you will come back to thank me. Some great shots, and then he has quite a lot of videos. Short videos has gone viral. He's got millions of views from. You will enjoy them. Very entertaining and yet at the same time objective. His video is very objective. Again, go check out his channel. Make sure to subscribe. It's one of the fastest growing YouTube channel, and could hit 20,000 soon. His content is that good. And again, thank you for finding time to join us here, bro. Ty, go ahead. In terms of the favoritism aspect, do you sense any measure of favoritism, or do you think it's just him trusting people? To me, I understand IB's argument, but I say I'd look beyond that. I think it's become favoritism. And with this, I want to ask you, if you're watching, if you haven't, please do take a second to, like the video. We have just 45 likes. Please keep liking the video to help us. Let's reach 400 likes today. I know we can do that, but only if you believe we can do that. Ty, again, but thank you anyway for 45 likes. That's not easy. I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you. Ty, do you sense any measure of, favoritism for any player, or do you think it's a trust? Again, with this, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom of the comments. Please, I beg you, it's way too much. I cannot handle it alone. Ty, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and yes, there is. I mean, I get what IBZ was saying, and yeah, it's a bit of both. There is favoritism to trust in terms of the trust that he has for certain players. Say that, okay, I can just trust these players. And for example, in that case, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is not a striker. IBZ said that. I think many people should understand that he's not a striker. He should be the player behind a striker. But we can't do that because we don't play a formation like that. And we also don't have a striker who's not injured. So it's going to happen. But there's also favoritism in terms of players that you can play and the players that he plays. He plays, I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to be controversial. He plays Mount in a position where that is not his position. And I made this point before. Mount is like an 8.5. I'm going to make up positions now. 8.5.
That's not controversial. That's just a fact. He doesn't play Mount to his position.
Okay.
No, Ty is just being cautious.
No, I'm being that because sometimes people, when I say things about Mount, people take it the wrong way. So
I know, bro. They get self-protected.
So what I'm saying is that he's at 8.5, meaning that he's the player who should be right in front of the midfield. He collects the ball from Kante or Kovacic, and then he tries to create, and that's what he does. But we play him as a winger. And it's the same thing we did on the Lampard. Lampard played him as a winger, and he was not a winger, and he struggled. Sometimes he's able to score goals, which is commendable for him because he's playing all the position. He's doing that. But right now, he's no longer a midfielder. He's an attacker now. when you play in an attacking role for 2 years, you're no longer a midfielder. You're an attacker now. So I mean, you've become an attacker. Whether or not it's your role or not, you're an attacker.
So overall, Ty, do you see favoritism?
Yes, there's favoritism, and there's level of trust. I could use Mendy as well. Mendy has not been in the greatest form since he came back from AFCON. Not even then. He started in 2021. West Ham game, all those games leading up to the AFCON period, he was not in the greatest form, and I don't understand why when you see a goalkeeper who is continuously having these issues where he's panicky on the ball, you try to minimize the amount of chances that you take in terms of getting the ball back to him. You don't do that, and considering that Mendy has done that before, where he tries to do some trickery to get past the player and then make a fool of himself, you need to try to minimize that. Yeah, I know a lot of teams play from the back, but when you have somebody who's panicky on the ball, who's not good at distributing the ball out, where they kick the ball out of play most of the time when they try to make a pass quickly, you need to try to find some solution. And we kept passing the ball backwards to him, and every time I saw it, I was like, what are you doing? He made a mistake. Why you keep passing the ball back to him? And what I saw is that everybody became panicky when we conceded the first goal and the second goal. Everybody was out of position, and then we became susceptible to counter attacks and things like that. But I have to say, if I can quickly say this, the point I made about Kovacic and Kante couple of weeks ago and months ago, this is why I say that they're always susceptible to injuries, because they're the ones that are doing the dirty work. They're playing for two players. And we saw the importance in the team. We're over-reliant on them. And this is why we need to build that squad depth. And plus, I saw something different from both managers. One came with a plan, and the other one did not really have a plan that was not predictable. I saw, I don't remember the Leeds player, pulling Jorginho out of position continuously. He kept doing it, and Jorginho was falling into the trap. Putting out, and then they kept making a pass through that space, and we were being countered. That is a plan. You have an idea and you utilize it. I could not see what our plan was. It was always go to Koulibaly, Cucurella, James, Loftus-Cheek, cross the ball into the box. Boom, 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 boom. It would cross an inch, and I was like, this is the football that I hated to see. We kept doing the same thing. We were one-dimensional, no change, and when we did try to go central, the ball was overhit straight into the hands of Melier, whatever his name is, the Leeds goalkeeper. So we looked clueless. We were panicky, and it just showed that the fact that one came with a plan, he was prepared for it, and the other one thought that his plan that worked against Spurs could work again, and it didn't.
Yeah, again, thank you very much, Ty. Again, I'm going to come back, I will scroll to the very bottom. I was looking at some delicious comment from Leon Lane regarding favoritism. Unfortunately, I can't find them all. The chat is on fire.
You got a super chat. You have a super chat. Yeah, thank you for that. I'll highlight it in a bit. Again, everybody, is venting their frustration at the coach, at some players. But then again, I can't catch up with everything. It's as simple as that. I will scroll to the very bottom. And if you're part of the Chelsea Perspective community, if you're in the chat, once we're 1 hour into the show, you can always share the link to your channel if you have a channel. You have every right to do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask Ty one question?
Yeah, go ahead. You don't need to call me. Just ask him the question.
Yeah, Ty.
I'm scared.
Yeah, no, it's nothing major. Gallagher debut yesterday, and Saul Niguez versus Aston Villa last season. Which one is worse?
Yeah, it was taking too much time on the ball, and then he was under too much pressure and he couldn't handle it. Yeah, same. And the funny thing is, both were starting debuts. So, man, he was nervous.
Here's how I say it. Saul Niguez, even on his worst day, did better in the midfield than Gallagher because he could read the game. Yes, Gallagher is more physical than him, but you could see the intelligence that Saul Niguez has. Even the days he made mistake, it was just his debut in the Premier League. He was a bit nervous and all that. But again, but that's, by the way, I'd take him anytime, any day under Gallagher as a 6. Go play Gallagher up as an 8. That's, by the way, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I'm so Sorry, I cannot get to every comment. It's just too many of them. Too many of them. And again, but that's what we're looking for. The growth is there, but at the same time, yeah, it's not easy until we get a studio engineer for the community. Then we'll do better in terms of handling, the comments in the chat. And again, I want to say this: if you're part of the community, you have a channel, and you're able to share the link to your channel, which means you're a mod. Go ahead, do so once we are 1 hour into the show. No worries. You have my permission to share the link to your channel. We grow together. That's what we do here. And quickly, just to say thank you, bro. And like I've told you, you don't have to do this for me to read your comments. Take care, guys. Got to go. I am sure we will come back as strong and smarter. Hopefully, we'll see the changes. Again, peace out, my CFC bros. Peace out to you to enjoy your vacation. I see you when you come back. But that's by the way. I'm going to come back to the panel quickly. One last panelist to let us know what he thought about the game. It is our statistical man here, our statistic man here. Bro, Gopo, welcome to the panel. How are you doing, bro? It's been a minute. I hope you're well. Okay, I think I'll try to catch a few comments while I wait for Gopo to come in. Whenever he comes in, I'm looking for that Liam Lane's comment, the very one about, again, but don't worry, let me read from here. He says, I'm not TT out. If you look at our squad on paper as it stands, and we cannot get the side to play to a certain standard, then there's definitely something wrong on the training ground. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it is the personnel. Maybe he split them out of position long enough that they're frustrated right now. And again, because virtually nearly who on the pitch, except for Cucurella, what's his name? Kalidou Koulibaly, Thiago Silva. Who else again would you say isn't playing out of position? Again, let me know. That's, by the way, again, maybe that on its own it's a big problem. We don't know. As I stated above, when Kante does not play, it exposes our weakness every time. Hazard not tracking back, and Jorginho lacking the speed, the physicality, and losing possession. I think this is a good comment in terms of what the absence of Kante has shown us. Yes, we had millions of players in our squad this past season, but it's not balanced. We have more players who who you could say are the same profile of players. None of them has anything different to complement the other person in terms of the attacking area. And in the midfield area, N'Golo Kante, when he's out, we don't have any player who would be able to help us screen the defense very well. When yes.
Sorry to add morning to everybody, and hope everybody's
good. Morning to you too, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was just wanted to add on that comment, and this is why Kante is always and forever injured. Kante and Kovacic as well. It's because they do so.
You're saying?
I'm saying this is why Kante and Kovacic are so injured regularly, because they cover for players who are in that midfield, i.e. Jorginho, who cannot track back. Like it's like they do two jobs, and this is why, as well as Gallagher yesterday was not on the game, because he didn't understand that, I have to cover for Jorginho again. This is not my position. Like, I have to do what a 6 does, as well as cover for Jorginho whenever we are in transition. And this is why
as screen the defense.
As well, exactly. So it's like, I think Tuchel needs to have his head up and says, like, we need certain players and certain player profiles in certain positions, and stop playing players so we can stop playing players in different positions. Because again, somebody made talked about Mount earlier on. He's right. Like, Mount is not he's not supposed to be anywhere in that front line. He's supposed to support the front line. He can do a job, but doing a job and being the player profile for that particular position is not the same thing. So Tuchel needs to hang his head up and take an L for this one, because he's been doing this for 2 seasons now, and he needs to stop. And he has a transfer window where he can actually fix majority of these problems, but he doesn't want to. Like, get a DM. If you don't want to get a DM, try Empedou there as a 6. Empedou has probably the best skills more than any player profile we have. Like, Gallagher cannot play there.
why don't you try Ampadu? Like Ampadu plays as a defender and as a six in certain positions or country in his country. So like I don't understand why Tuchel keeps on doing this favoritism thing for certain players as well as
So you
Mendy
are
as well.
for this? You sense favoritism too.
Yeah, like it's becoming a thing now. He trusts certain players more than any other players, and it's annoying because we're going into a season where a certain I don't mind the 3-4-3, but only if the players in that system are the players who play that particular position. Because if we're trying to nick and fit players that don't play, it's becoming the same old routine again. And I like to ask, like, has anybody seen like Sterling is becoming another Werner? And it's very funny to see. Like he's making the runs, he's getting frustrated, he's not getting the ball. Like yes, Sunday's game was just something else. But I just wanted to add on that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good addition. That's a good addition to the conversation, and that was why about 3 weeks ago or so we were arguing about getting, or a month ago, we're arguing about getting Lewandowski, getting Ronaldo, all these top-notch strikers, and my argument was if you bring them in, they will still face the same. Yeah, but Werner's case is unique in the sense that he struggles against teams that defend deep. But another aspect is that we don't create from central positions. All goal creations mostly always come from long balls or on the flanks and on the carpet, and which means it's simple, it's predictable. If you watch Man City, did you see how many chances they created from the central area? Defense splitting passes, some of them on the carpet, rolls beyond defense. Somebody will make running to get it. And here's the thing. Here's why, another reason why we struggled against Leeds United. It's actually simple. We have midfielders. They don't make decisive runs to create, easier passing lanes for the wing backs or for the defenders whenever they have the ball. They usually start it in most cases. If they do it, they don't do it enough. Man City are able to do well against any team, no matter how aggressively you press or how octane football you play. They still beat you because they're so dynamic in their runs that whoever has the ball will have 2-3 options. But look at us. For instance, Cucurella yesterday, I was able to find out no matter how far the person, the teammate is able to find them. And in most cases on the carpet, but he shouldn't be going that far to find a teammate.
100%.
His teammate should be dynamic with their runs, create a 2-3-4, at least two passing lanes for him, make it easier on him. But he'd have the ball, and the only passing lane he'd see will be to the other end of the pitch. Yes, Leeds United were pressing aggressively, they press strategically. But when they press, when they adjust their movement, you as a teammate of the player who has the ball, adjust your position too.
Oh,
it's as simple as that, but we couldn't do that. but that's by the way. Yes, go ahead.
Majority of the time in midfield, we are already outnumbered. Like, it's really funny because it's what Leeds did was quite actually smart, and big up to Jesse March. But like he did the same thing as what we did first. Like he literally copied and pasted. Like he stopped us from playing out from the back because that's one of our strengths. And who's our strength in terms of that?
Sorry to cut you off, my brother. I massive apologies. I just want to counter that. I don't think Jesse March copied anyone but what he learned from his trade from under the stewardship of those like Rangnick, Rosenberg, Salzburg. His approach is the type of approach we should be manifesting in, but he does it easily because he learns that approach and he put that to. I don't think you could copy that our game or a game plan or our game plan and put.
No. I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying like he copied like the game plan. He did what we did. Our strategy against Spurs was to stop them from creating the ball from getting to Son and etc. He did the same thing for us. Like you stop Chelsea from playing. How do you do that? Stop Jorginho. Stop his passing lanes. Like, cut him off from the whole supply completely.
And he doesn't know how to, beat that. The junior doesn't know how to beat that. Once you're able to mark him, he gets lost in the game. He doesn't, adjust his movement to help his teammates. Again, I hope you understand what I explained before. The lack of, you could say dynamism in our positioning to create more passing lanes for the guy with the ball is a big problem. How many times have you seen teams able to stop City from playing their game, no matter how aggressively you play? You tire yourself out because they still play comfortably. They still have one. But go ahead, Agapo. You were saying something. Sorry for cutting you off.
And just to add, right? You're right, coach. And just to add, this is where Mendy comes in, right? And what pretty much knew was like, okay, Mendy's not good on his ball, so rather have him hold the ball all day long. We don't care about that. But when it goes to Jorginho, set up traps. Like when it goes to Koulibaly cannot find Jorginho. The best thing is to find Cucurella. But the minute that ball goes to Cucurella, they press. They initiate the press just to close the passing lanes for Jorginho and Gallagher. And this is a thing that's been doing for Chelsea. If you want to kill Chelsea off, that's how you play. And at times we will rely on Kovacic, who can actually take the ball and drive into the midfield.
Kova is the only guy that plays whenever Chelsea face out of team. He's the only one player that stands out. Go ahead, brother.
Because his ability to beat the press and drive into the midfield gives us a huge advantage against the press. But that game, we did not have that. We were hoping Gallagher was going to be that guy, but he wasn't. He just couldn't understand. And whenever Jorginho had the chance to drive into midfield, he doesn't have the power, the pace to do that, and he knows it himself. So that's why he passes all the way to Reece James, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and we go on, and it just becomes predictable and one way forward. Like, yeah.
And another
it's really fun.
And another thing as well I want to say is, if you watch the way Chelsea play, we have to be to like 90 or 95% our level for us to even get any sort of result in any game. We look labored. Like every time we play, we have to run. We have to put so much effort in games. It's like top teams don't need to do that all the time. We can't relax in any games. As soon as we relax, as soon as our level drop even by 1 or 2%, that's it. We lose it. And and Chelsea.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a stat somewhere there. Chelsea is probably the team that give away the easiest goals in the top, amongst the tops, apart from United, in the top 6 teams. The amount of goals I see us concede, I don't see us. For us to score those type of goals, we have to work hard for them. Like, look at the men. When is the last time Chelsea got a goal from a mistake like Mendy did? We never get goals like that, but we happy to give those goals easily every single game.
Yeah, we press like big boys.
Yeah. It's frustrating to see this.
And it's funny that we press better than any other team, but we never get those goals. We never press to a point where the other team just concedes because of the pressure. Like, it's ridiculously funny.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe because we don't press intelligently. We don't. We're just running like headless chickens up there, especially in the front area. Just run it towards the player to get him to pass it to another person. We don't press strategically, consistently. It's every now and then you see it. Maybe probably when Tuchel yells too much. Again, you could argue also is his fault, partly, in terms of the way we press senselessly, press like idiots. Even in most cases, you'll be looking at your TV and say, go after him, cover the other guy like you're the coach, because you're seeing clearly what the other player was supposed to do, but he was just standing and be looking at, and then he had time enough to cover the passing lane from the opposition's goalkeeper, but wouldn't do it. Probably be walking around.
Silva and Reece James arguing. What they were arguing about? I think because James is now right centre, but I think his positioning was really getting to Silva's nerves, and he was shouting at him, and they start arguing in the first half. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, again, complaining about the formation when our players are to blame. The only goal that couldn't be stopped was the third goal. First and second were individual mistakes. Yes, again, that's partly the problem. But again, the manager is to blame to a certain measure. But we'll get to that in a bit. I cannot understand why we cannot play 4 at the back and solidify it. If you don't have a strong DM as claimed, you compensate with energy. Again, especially when you have Empire to cover Mount and Gallagher. Here's the thing. Again, I think defensively, the defensive aspect of the game isn't really our problem. Maybe a DM, yes. We should prioritize getting in a DM to help us screen the defense and screen the defense even better. But that's, by the way, I'll try and see again I repeat who is going to play in the place of K2 next game. Yeah, that's a big question. Well, I don't know how Thomas Tuchel is going to solve that problem. Tuchel, maybe Cucurella.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Cucurella, and in front of him is going to be Chilwell. I think that's
I think Cucurella will play there. Let me see again. I will have to scroll to the very bottom. I said it a long time ago. Get a Tone, Alba, Casideos, and Maxima and Fofana. Most of these players aren't good enough. You could argue that. I don't know what to say about that. Thomas, okay, this is in English. Even if a Chelsea sign a good striker, TT's pattern wants to suit him. And again, the players behind the striker will still frustrate the life out of the player. And I wouldn't even advocate signing a traditional striker for Thomas Tuchel, and you know why. Again, here we say Ben Jacobs tweet on Fofana. What did he say? Educated splits. I haven't seen that. I don't have my update screen open. I think I have to do that. Yesterday's game was so comical for Chelsea FC. No midfielder and no number 9. Jorginho and Czechs, we're so lazy yesterday. Again, I don't know what to say about that. Matthew Lee Benjamin Kachila is the coach's instruction needs to change. You could argue that's the case. I don't know, but the problem runs beyond what we're seeing on the surface. I think there's a lot more. Maybe we need to, again, and I can't judge Thomas Tuchel until the transfer window shuts. Then you say, okay, he has all the players he needs, then the jury will be out for him. Yep. But we'll see what happens. It's way too early in the season to say what happens to him. Lukaku did the right time for leaving if it's too late for his career. Again, I think I get your argument there. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. I know there's quite a lot of contributions in the chat there. Quickly says, good evening, bro. Mendy have cost me a lot of depression throughout yesterday, and I'm still in pain because I lost 1 million naira because of Mendy. Oh, now I know what you did. Okay, sorry about that. Now you have to be careful what you do next time. Again, a great discussion, guys. Again, Chama Yosef says, I hope TT and his players listen to this shows and take your advice. Yeah, I hope so too. Says maybe we don't need to spend 300 million, but simply change our style. No, I don't think it's as simple as that. Here's the truth here. Whether Tuchel is to blame is to be blamed partly because of the issues we're having. The truth remains there's a mentality issue in the team. That's why we have what is called Charity FC. There's also a character issue. Tell me how many times we've been 2 goals down under Thomas Tuchel or even under Frank Lampard and we're able to come back and win the game. Let me know which one. If you can count any, I'll be surprised. But that's, by the way, these second goals, I think was bad positioning from Cuckoo. He made the goal he made them onside. Again, I think he struggles with keeping players offside. That's not the first time. I take care, everyone, but I take care you too. Again, says Chelsea use a 4-5-2 formation. Is that what you think that is? Yeah, he says 4-5-2. Yeah,
so Mendy was a part of the old few players as well.
Just leave the man alone, Ty. Don't show me anybody here. Again, Mason Mount's corner takes are really bad. Doesn't reach the second man. Cucurella whips them in dangerously.
I was wondering why Cucurella was doing anything. I was like, why is it Mo? Mo keeps Mo. You know what you're gonna get with Mo. Mo is not gonna beat the first man, or if he beats the first man, it's just gonna go into the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I swear I loved seeing Newcastle going toe-to-toe with Man City, and there you can see character. You can see spite. They have spite. You can see fight. They're fighting. They want to win. They want to win the game. They're not like, again, but in our team, we consider after the first goal, actually, you can say you see the players slump and like they've accepted that this one is over. So we lack character in the team, and I think we need to change something in the midfield. I get it. Some are saying, Tuchel is saying publicly we have too many midfielders. We're not interested. Maybe that's his way of telling Todd Boehly, I don't think these guys will have them, but if we're saying we'll keep them, look at what they're going to give us. That's not enough. Sorry?
This comment right here is exactly why, when I was being countered by declared, I accepted defeat because I know that my point was never going to get across. And this right here is exactly why I kept saying that we need a DM. And declared was saying to me that means you're going to be ultra defensive. You need a DM because Kante is not really a DM, but he can fulfill that role because he wins back the ball and his
ability to read the game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm saying you need a DM, because if Kante is injured in particular, you're gonna lose that player who can win back the ball quickly. Although sometimes he doesn't really do that, and sometimes he gets outnumbered because he's getting older. But that also highlights the fact that you need somebody who can be his successor, somebody who's a bit younger, that can be his successor, or somebody who can be that stopgap until you can find an ideal long-term replacement, like we had with Kante for some 6 years. So I think that is the issue. So that is why I keep saying that we need a DM, and people misunderstood what I meant. People say we have Jorginho, people say we have Kante, but Kante is unfortunately injury prone. He has to do a lot of running,
and he's not a DM, by the way. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He's never been.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a DM, but because he has an ability of fulfilling parts of what a DM does, it's looked as if he's a DM. He's not a DM. He's a box-to-box because he's.
To your point here, when is the last time Chelsea actually signed any sort of midfielders? The last midfielder we signed was Jorginho.
Well, Kovacic. Yeah, because we said we bought him after he was on loan to us on the Sorry.
That's the last midfielder we signed.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the last time we signed a DM was Matic actually, and then ever since Matic left, conveniently, that was the last time we won the league as well. So he went to United, didn't work out there, and even when he does play for Man United, or when he used to play for Man United, we saw the likes of Fred and players that have more freedom to express that side that they actually are. So that just highlights the fact that when you have DM, it also frees up and eventually, if Tuchel wants to play back for you, it allows him to have freedom because there's players in this team that they have the ability, but because they have
let me sound like Steve a bit. If we have a DM, a DM, and then a traditional DM who's able to play as a single six, then it free up one more player to join the attacking area, and it makes perfect sense.
Yes, and that is why when people complain that we don't push enough players forward, I'm like, why do you want us to put? Do you want us to be caught on a counter attack? That's how you concede. In this system right now, you there's only so. I'm not saying that I get what they're saying, but you cannot be pushing so many players forward because then, if that team has pacey players, all you need to do is just make one pass. And that's how we conceded against Leeds.
Here's the problem here. Here's the problem with playing. That is why I think we're reluctant. While I think he will continue playing 2 6s for a while. When we're playing 3 at the back, as you're seeing on the screen, these guys, they play the role of wingers. And they are usually up here. So the 2 6s makes it easier for either of the two. If the opposition are coming down at us on this side, then this guy can drift to the left. If they're coming on this side, then this guy can drift to the right. That's why we're still seeing 2 6s until we shift to 4 at the back. Then you can play. If we shift to 4 at the back, then you can play with a single pivot, which means that is one of the center halves. And the right back here can double up on opposition play on this side here. So as long as he plays with 3 at the back system, he will still need 2 6s because these guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just add with what you just showed on the picture, right? Can I just tell people how nice a DM is, right? Can you make it the last two center backs, the last two, make it a two.
Can you share your
2-1.
screen so that you'll be able to move it around as you want?
I can't share a screen because I'm
All
on the
right,
phone.
go ahead. Say, make it a 2 where?
2 at the center back.
Two center backs, then one a right back and a left back, right? You want that?
2 center backs. You see that player 3 and player 2. Leave them there. Take player 4 in front of them. Put player 4 in front of him. In front, coach.
This way.
In the middle. Yeah, in the middle of them.
No. Move.
No, you were right. Yeah. Put number 4
this guy
in front.
here.
No. Move 2 to the right.
To the right
like
here.
That.
And then put 4 in the middle.
No, okay, forget the numbers. How many players do you want at the back?
2 and then 4 in the middle.
You want 2 here, right?
Yeah, and then
you want 1 here.
There you go.
Yeah. That and then number 9, push them up the field. That would be your Reece James or whoever. Put them right up the field next to the box. Cucurella's as well, right up the box. And your 2
just closer to the box.
Yeah, closer to the box. Everybody just goes closer to the box. And as well. Yeah. And that player 6, push him up in the midfield. Push him up.
Push 6 up forward here, right? Yeah. Somewhere here.
And then push player 4 in that middle center. That player 4 is your DM. And your center back, Koulibaly and Silva, are right there. So when this is the formation we should be having when we're attacking. So player 6 would be any Gallagher or Pulisic or Mount or regardless. I don't know which the guys want in that particular game, as well as player 5, right? And this is the formation we'd have in terms of attacking. But when we have the players that we have, we can put them in the defensive role, and then this another.
I think your audio. We have a serious audio issue. Maybe you have to go out and come back in.
I've got issue with this formation. It's quite glaring. It's a glaring issue in this formation. Look at the side.
But this is an attacking phase.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad in attacking phase. You have a formation. You're very exposed. You can't put player number 8.
No. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
This is what Liverpool plays. This is what City plays. Like for Konate and Virgil hold, and Fabinho becomes that player number 4, and then your midfielders are helping attack. This is why in transition, player 4, if they're coming from the left side, he goes to the left and stops the transition. That's what a DM does.
Because with a DM you don't need 2 6s. A DM is usually well versed in covering wherever the attack is coming from. It can drift to the left, to the right. That's his job.
You know what's so funny? You know what's also that brings me back to Matic. I remember in the earlier stage when he was first introduced, I think it was under Ancelotti, if I'm not mistaken. There was a case where he could actually play as a defender or in that role. So in that sense, that also helped in the DM role, because as a DM, he also sits in for the defenders as well. And that is what we saw Jorginho when Tuchel first came in. When Christensen or anybody was going to go forward, you'd see him drop into form the 3, and that would allow for more freedom. But when you don't have somebody like a Kante for support, so that when you do that, the midfield is not just empty and you have extra space there, that becomes an issue. So that is why in itself, this just highlights that a DM, even if it's not a DM like probably in the past, like a Matic would sit deep and things like that, you still need somebody who will allow freedom. I use an example of before Fabinho started to drift off and become a bit poor. He was a player that Liverpool would look to, and even to support Trent when he was in terms of defending. And that was what I saw in the Champions League final as well with Liverpool. They have that DM like a Fabinho who would support Trent on that side. But obviously, when Fabinho was not able to be in that position, obviously we know that's how they conceded on Trent's side. So that just highlights the fact that a GM would support that, and that right there, I made mention of that. We play a 2-1-2-8, and that we play a formation that is very odd. Everybody's pushed up forward, but they're not in the box, and then we're left on in a position where we can concede from a counter.
I think a traditional DM, I want Rodrigo to come in to explain why he's concerned here. I think when you have a traditional DM, you don't need to play a second six there, because they were versed in the art of reading the game, knowing, and usually very disciplined. And that's why, even though you could argue Mikel Obi, he didn't have the most, that is, he didn't have numbers to write home about in terms of his offensive input, but he's always willing. He's always willing. Even sometimes you see the center halves move up, he drops back here to cover up. We don't have that now. Exactly. Nobody reads the game so well at night from those sixes. Maybe Ampadu will, or maybe Chalobah, because he's traditionally a center half. But we had somebody like Jean-Michel Lebi, again, even him, as well as he's you could argue one of the most underrated. Yes, he goes sideways, backwards, and most of the times. But in terms of screening the defense, you could say he's the most respected worldwide, because he does it very well. But go ahead with your concern with us. Remember, this is in an attacking phase. And defensively, we can have more players backwards supporting, that is returning to support. I want you to address your concern in terms of what you're looking at, the structure that Gopo explained in terms of the attacking phase. And then we'll go on to talk about why I think Mendy, he set the stage he was the one that set the stage for Leeds to see, oh, wow, we can actually win this one. But go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, first of all, whenever we did play a 4-3-3 under Lampard, even under Tuchel in that preseason. The issue we have most of the time is the distance. I always look at the distance between our players. When you play as a long DM, because the distance between when you're gonna pass the ball, you don't want that distance to be too big. So if you have a DM and then the player 6 and player 5 are too far away from him, it makes the opposition team can, if the distance is too big, they can cut the passing lane. We saw that so many times. That is a matter of communication. They shouldn't be too far apart. I would say maybe 10 yards apart max. You can't have people like I watched under Lampard. It was almost like we pushing player 6 and player 5 were hugging the touchline. It's good to make the pitch wide, but the risk you have there, your passing lane, you can cut the passing lane. So my issue here was that
real quick. Can I just rebuttal on your point there? Under Lampard, it's the same issue we're having right now. We didn't have a recognized DM. That's it. And the player that was supposed to be covering was Jorginho, who did not have the legs to run back.
There's an image. If I find it, I think it will help Rodrigo understand. Jorginho was in the wrong position, and they got a clear space in the middle area. Go ahead, Gopo.
No, I was want to say with this.
No, Gopo was explaining something. Are you done, Gopo?
I was explaining.
Okay, go ahead. He came in. I thought maybe he was still saying something, responding to something you said. Go ahead, Rodrigo. Sorry, bro.
What the issue I see with this in attacking phase is player 8 and player 9. Ideally, I will have player 8 a bit, or player 9, whichever we prefer to attack, to be a bit more reserved. So that give us numbers, because what will happen in the Premier League is you've pushed player 8 and player 9 so far up, you think your DM has enough like stamina and legs to run across the pitch. What will happen? They'll switch play, because usually if you have play concentrated on the right or on the left, the other team, all they have to do is switch play quickly. You expose. Then you have slow centre backs, because you have Silva and Koulibaly is quite fast. But if you have Silva can't play it'll be too exposed. So that's why I say you need to keep one of player 8 or player 9 a bit closer to your centre backs or closer to the DM. This is where Pep came up with this inverted fullback, because he realized if you watch City in the first few seasons, how to beat City was easy. Beat them on a counter-attack. What Pep realized is, right, I'm gonna invert one of my fullbacks. Is either Cancelo, either what's his name, Kyle Walker. So they make numbers in midfield. So it's harder for you to counter them. By the time you want to switch play to the other side, because they're both so far up, you want to switch play to the other side, there is someone in midfield that can cover that. Unless you have a super dynamic DM like a Casemiro that can sniff out any danger. But those players are, those are world-class DM we're talking about.
Yeah, Gopo, you were going to say something, so we can move on. I don't know if IBZ has anything to say regarding what you just explained, so we can move on to talking about how I think Mendy, he set the stage for Leeds. Go ahead, Gopo. What are you saying? I thought Gopo was saying something. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, right, guys, like, this is an attacking phase, number one, right? And I get that people say it's switch of play, and Silva has no legs, etc. And guys, Silva is a world class center back, and he reads the game so well that he knows when things are happening. And this is where a DM is so crucial. Where when we lose the ball in transition, he attacks and closes the passing lanes of whatever, if they're coming from the left side. And by the time they switch, whether you think Silva is going to be out of position, Silva and Koulibaly are so world-class, guys. Like, they can read an offside line. They can read how to stop the attack. Not only that, a proper DM, will actually become the third centre-back while Silva catches up with the switch of play. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. And player 6 and player 5, I get that if they are apart for a minute or two, player 6 and player 5 are gonna come back. These are your defensive solidity in terms of stopping the counter.
Defensive insurance.
Yeah, but Lampard, Mount, and whoever was playing there, they were leaving Jorginho. I was talking about the distance between the DM and the 2-8. If that distance is too big, you have your DM isolated. You're running the same problem.
That is why I said that a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
did you have anything to add to that? Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Rodrigo, you were saying something. So sorry about that.
No, I think Ty was saying about midfielder. Yeah, no.
Ty, what were you saying?
That is why I say that Mount has barely played as a midfielder since he was introduced into the team, because as a midfielder, what he used to do on the Lampard, that is not what a midfielder does. You don't isolate your partner in the midfield like that, and he's always further forward, trying to put pressure on them and trying to make a mistake. That's how he scored his first goal for the club. He was pressing very hard, and against Man United as well. That's the case. We lost the battle in the midfield. So that's why I'm saying that Mount has never played really as a midfielder until probably the second season, where we were experimenting with Gilmour and Mount in a double pivot. That's practically the only time he's actually played as a midfielder.
Yeah. IBC, you want to add to that? You want to see the screen if you want to add to it, or should you just move on?
You can move on.
Okay, let's start with this one. Again, I know what some people were arguing. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom to start this conversation right here. Again, this is what I want us to talk about next. And apologies to everybody that I haven't said hello to, or if I scrolled past your comments. I just can't catch up with everything. Even I missed one delicious comment I saw from Liam Lane regarding the favoritism thing, but I couldn't find it anymore because there's so much in the chat. And if you're watching, if you want to join the conversation, hit me up on Twitter. I will ID you first to be sure you're a real human for obvious reasons. We've been through some nonsense. Again, some people sabotaging a content creators' YouTube channel with pornography and other, but I don't want to go into that. But that's, by the way,
so painful.
Yeah, here's the thing. Let's talk about Mendy. This is not me saying that Mendy is a bad goalkeeper. This is me saying I think Thomas Tuchel hasn't handed the selection of the goalkeeping department so very well. He's made Mendy look probably feel like he's indispensable. Feel like he's undroppable. Maybe again, and it's not good. I think I had some people on the panel then who argued the exact sentence the person used was that Mendy needs to be dropped for his own good. The argument we got then, and again, it was just I and Matt single-handedly fighting, drop Mendy, and some people also drop Mendy. He needs to be dropped for his own good. Yes, the argument has been we've seen big-name goalkeepers make mistakes. We've seen some serious howlers from the German international, one of the best ball-playing, goalkeepers in the world. What's his name again? Manuel Neuer. We've seen his mistakes. We've seen Alisson's mistakes. We've seen the Manchester City's mistakes. But Mendy's is too much. These goalkeepers were caught that I've named. You see, there's like once in every blue moon, if that's how you want to phrase it. But in the case of Mendy, since the game against West Ham United, he's averaged a single mistake per game.
Yes.
And they will argue that here, the title of the show says, yet another Mendy error. And I had my brother and friends, the Winter Sufferer, he came to argue against that Mendy hasn't been making a lot of mistakes. I said, look, the problem is most of them hasn't led to goals. And we've been unlucky in most cases. That's why people aren't paying attention to it. And again, I'll repeat myself. This is not me saying that Mendy is not a good goalkeeper. This is me saying Mendy needs to be dropped. He needs to taste the bench for his own good. Then maybe next time when he gets a chance to start, he will be concentrating in the game like 300%. Can you tell me why again? Let me start narrating why I think Tuchel hasn't handled the selection of the goalkeepers well. Mendy went away to AFCON, and Kepa Arrizabalaga stood between the sticks in his absence, and he did quite well. He did not put a foot wrong. Most people feared we were going to be in trouble in Mendy's absence, but that didn't happen. And Mendy, I think he helped us win a penalty that got us to the final of the Carabao Cup then, right? Kepa did that for us. And then we went thank you. We went for Club World Cup. Or what is it, Club World Cup or Club World Cup? And he stood between the sticks for us. It was his brilliance in the semi-finals that made sure we made it to the final, because he got caught 1-on-1 by the Brazilians, right? It was the Brazilian, a team from Brazil. He helped us get to the final. He was brilliant. And then Mendy returned from AFCON, joined the team straight from AFCON, and at the final, which you can argue without Kepa Arrizabalaга's brilliance, we wouldn't make it to the final, and Kepa got dropped to the bench. I was furious. I knew that wasn't the good thing to do. Some were saying I was being sentimental. No, it's not being sentimental. I merit.
Not only that, coach. Even in the cup final, in the cup run, I'm
getting to that. Then I said maybe the Tuchel's plans would be, to divide the finals into two. Let Mendy start. Let Mendy start the final of the Club World Cup, because maybe he, for some reason I don't know, but you cannot explain that to me, that the goalkeeper that you could say on merit was supposed to start that final didn't start. Even if Kepa started that final, it wouldn't mean that he's better than Mendy. No, but you show him you can trust him when Mendy isn't there. He's not only you show him that he's not only important when Mendy isn't there. You show him that you're part of this team. You deserve to start in the final. You were the ones that made sure we got to the final. So you go ahead and finish it for us. And then I was thinking maybe, okay, since Mendy started that Club World Cup final, that Kepa Arrizabalaga is going to start the Carabao Cup final. And then we came back to England and Mendy started the final. And it was Kepa Arrizabalaга's heroics in a penalty stopping that made sure we got to the final. And you still didn't start him in the Carabao Cup final. And Liverpool's own second choice goalkeeper started. And then when it got to penalty, you bring in a player. It doesn't look like. That's when I say maybe something is really wrong with Thomas Tuchel. If you're intelligent enough and understand how humans behave when you treat them like that, you'd know that Kepa would not be in the right state of mind. He'd still be contemplating, what did I do wrong? Then I did start in the Club World Cup final, and you're doing this to me again. No matter how you see it, I don't think he's handled it well. Gopo, let me start with you. Go ahead, let me know your thoughts. Before Gopo comes in, the point I was making is this: we matched. Yes, we didn't cover as much ground as they did by the time the game ended, but before that first goal, we matched Leeds United tempo for tempo. Even the commentators were saying, "What a game!" We matched them tempo for tempo until Mendy made that mistake. Go ahead, Gopo. I'm waiting for you.
Yo, coach, when you say Gopo, you say me.
Yeah. Emperor, so to speak. I'm mixing up the names. Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I think Mendy needs competition, and the only competition that's there at the moment is Kepa, and I think a 3-game bench where he sits and watches, regardless of what Kepa's doing. Because the only problem with Kepa is these long-distance shots, but he's good on his feet. He can play out from the back. I'm not saying Mendy is a bad goalkeeper. It's just that I think he's suffering from success. Like, he had a world-class AFCON, a world-class Champions League final. Like, he's at the level where I think he thinks he's untouchable, and he can get away with silly things like what he did against the Leeds game. And it's not the first time he does that. Like, clear your lines. Like, keep it simple, clear your lines. If you're being pressed, bruh, rather concede a corner or a touchline throw-in than do what you just did, like trying to chop back and be clever, because you know you're not good on your feet. So I think he needs to be dropped for like 3 games straight. I can't lie. Tuchel needs to just discipline him in that manner and tell him, bro, if you don't shape up, you need to fight your... Because I don't get what Tuchel did, because when he came here, he had the merit thing going where it's either you play for your position, and every player played at their maximum for their position. But now it's like Mendy's the end all and be all. Nah, he needs to be dropped. I can't lie. I also agree he needs to be dropped.
Yep, he needs to be dropped. You could argue the whole thing. It was that howler that gave Leeds United the confidence to even continue doing what they were doing. It got worse. They started shooting from outside, they started shooting from like the United States, trying to score a goal in England, because they thought maybe he's panic. And again, it looks like whenever he makes such mistakes, you can see that his shoulders are down. Actually, I fear that at one point that he's going to repeat the same mistake in a single game. Honestly, yeah, I fear, because he looked even worse on the ball after that first mistake, and it could have happened again had he wasted even a minute second, of a second on the ball. So he was the reason why the whole thing, our team started faltering. Yes, it exposed another issue that we have in the team. We lack character, that's the truth. But the whole thing started from that howler. He had the whole time in the world to do something with the ball. Why risk dribbling a player? Rodrigo, your thoughts?
Oh, Mendy. Oh, my God. This guy frustrates me so much. He's really bad with his feet. And every time we always try to build from the back, I get nervous. Every single time he has the ball to his feet and he's trying to pass it out to defenders. I've got my heart in my mouth. I can't stand it. He needs to go long. Even when he goes long, he's not accurate with his passing. He's basically for an opposition team. Mendy is a perfect trigger for your counter press. Whenever he has the ball, boom, we go. Because you know he's gonna make a mistake, and it's not the first time. And he does this every single. Even sometimes we don't get punished. He does this mistake every single game. Watch him now. Every game you watch, his distribution out from the back is poor. I know people say goalkeeper, we don't really rate him for their passing, but this is the modern game. Goalkeeper is also part of your players. You use him in your build-up phase. Because what Jorginho was trying to do yesterday was game press. Fair enough, you go to your keeper because you can recycle the ball from there. It could be a way to beat the Leeds press. But when you have a keeper who's very bad with his feet, it's really, really bad. It's like one of the worst I've seen. So why didn't he just clear the ball? The same mistake he did against West Ham when he conceded the penalty. Against Everton, conceded a penalty. Against Real Madrid, I don't know what he was doing. Cost us a quarter-final. I mean, this guy, he needs to be dropped. He hasn't been himself since AFCON. Actually, since AFCON, he hasn't been himself at all. I mean, maybe he had 1 or 2 games where he was all right, but I think it's time to give Kepa a run again. And
I think you make a good argument. Just quickly, here's the thing: Steve Chelsea are not into whataboutism when it comes to comparing Kepa to Mendy. Here's the thing: I've said it before. This is not me saying that Mendy is a better goalkeeper or Kepa is a better goalkeeper. Mendy has made it how long has Mendy been at Chelsea? 2-3 years, and Kepa has been like about 4 or 5 years. He's made twice as much as mistakes, even 3 times the mistakes that Kepa Arrizabalaga has made between the sticks.
Yeah, the only thing Mendy's good at
just half the time, not nearly half the time.
Do you remember when Mendy came in? He was really good at coming out for corners, clearing the ball. But now, even that, he looks very shaky. He looks like he's not decisive. And one thing I've noticed as well since the season started, our positioning in corners has changed, and we look confused. We look very weak in terms of defending corners. I don't know if there's something that's changed in training or something. As you see the positioning in corners, it makes me nervous. Every time we concede a corner, I'm nervous. I don't know about you guys. I'm nervous. I feel like we're going to concede every single time. I think it's this zonal marking. I'm not liking it. We need to go back to how we used to defend corners. Maybe it's because that coach went to Everton. Remember we had is it Joe Edward or someone like that used to train corners? Now I think he's gone to Everton, or am I mistaken? Because we look very weak, and Mendy's not helping. He's not coming out and catching the ball decisive.
This guy is 6 foot plus, and yet we get corner kicks. We struggle to defend it. He's not coming out to punch it out or do something seriously with it.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. That is what people used to say. Oh, Mendy's good at claiming the ball from a corner and free kicks. He's not doing it anymore. You can see that something has changed in Mendy. Mendy's not the same player. And yes, this all the players that there's some level of favoritism is because of sentimental reasons. Kante needed
Is it fair to say Mendy operates on hunger, and he lost that hunger?
Yes,
possibly.
I think maybe this is.
Possibly. He's achieved so much within a short time, so much praise, so much nominations. Maybe it's getting into his head, and plus, most especially Thomas Tuchel's handling of the goalkeeping department selection has, subconsciously gotten into his head. He's not pushing to get better. He needs to be dropped for his good, like somebody said. Go ahead, Ty, with what you're saying. I want to bring IBZ in, then go to Emperor and Matt, who's joined. By the way, Kepa Arrizabalaга's brother.
Yeah, you just stated what I was going to state about the fact that Mendy has achieved so much, because this is the situation. Remember, he was unemployed for a while. He thought that his football career was over. And if he joins Chelsea, well, first of all, I can't disregard it. Stade Reims or whatever it's called. He does good there. Stade Rennais signs him. He gets him Champions League into the Champions League spot. He joins us, wins the Champions League, wins the Super Cup, wins the Club World Cup. Well, before that, he won the AFCON, and then things like that. So I mean, that is going to get in his head, and this is why it goes back to that stream where it was you and I that were being pinned against. I remember when Winchester came on and saying that you don't really.
You're forgetting Matt. Matt is actually more vocal than you and I regarding that situation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
And it was a case where, and they were saying that you don't really rotate goalkeepers like that. But based on merit, if we did it twice, and obviously we saw that Kepa was not happy because I think it was the League Cup one where he was supposed to take a penalty and he didn't take it like he wanted to score. He took it like he was angry, and they went over the bar. That in itself show that you are affecting a goalkeeper mental wise. People say he should be stronger than that, but if let me use this for example. Let's say that you've been working at a company. I'm going to use some business thing where you're in a similar role to somebody else. You do well, that person is out sick or they're on leave or they're on paternal leave or something, and you're working, you're doing the job, you're saying, okay, the other person has competition here, and then boom, that person comes back from their leave. When they come back, they just come straight back into the role, disregarding everything that you did in the past to help the business. How are you gonna feel? You're gonna feel disregarded. You're gonna feel disrespected. And based on merit, he should have continued in the competitions. The Club World Cup, I know it was one game. It was two. We played 2 games in total, but he made 2 crucial stops. There was mistakes, and we kept a clean sheet, I think. So I mean, he should have continued and played, but we brought him back in. We brought Mendy back in because he joined days before the final, and then we conceded because of a penalty and things like that. And there was mistakes. Clearly, that's going to affect Kepa. And when you give a goalkeeper the impression that they do have competition, not even goalkeepers, when they give a player that they an indication that they don't have any competition that they need to be worried about, they become complacent. They become too relaxed and comfortable.
Yep.
And when that happens, they know that no matter how bad they do, they're going to continuously play. And that is the reason why Havertz still plays, Mount still plays, even when they have bad games. And we can't do anything about it because we don't have any competition for those players. We have backups, but those backups, when you come on, they're like, oh, you're going to see a drop in form. So that is why, for example, the fullbacks, Alonso was not the greatest. But when Chilwell, although Chilwell, I probably use the example of James because Chilwell only played 7 games. When James was injured.
No. You can use the Chilwell one. You can, because remember when Chilwell at the beginning of the season last season, he was off because of injuries and the whole England thing, and he was benched because
it was 7 games. I was saying because it was 7 games.
Did you see how Alonso performed? Like he was on some other thing.
Yes,
like he was scoring goals.
Yeah, because he knew that at any moment he would come back in. Yeah, because it wasn't that Chilwell was injured, it was not that he wasn't sure because he hadn't played a game since the Champions League final, so he needed to integrate him back into the team. So yeah, I get that. He probably used that as well. And then as soon as Chilwell got that injury, Alonso had no competition. And I think this is not an assumption, but I think we probably were trying to get back Emerson for 2 reasons. To have some level of rotation just in case Alonso picks up an injury or something. And so that Alonso will not be too comfortable. Instead, we got Kennedy back, and Kennedy only played 2 games in total. He played in a cup game, and then he played in the final game, I think. So I really didn't understand the point of bringing him back. But I mean, that is why Mendy needs competition, and people saying that you don't really do that. But even if you look back into the history of the club, I think that I suck at names, but I think Koulibaly was the goalkeeper when Cech came in. And then things started to go down south for Koulibaly. If I'm wrong, then
and Cech took over. And yeah, I think you're correct. Let me quickly again. I'm going to see how much I'll be able to catch up with the chat. I'm going to bring IBZ in again. We have 76 people watching. We need just 24 more to get it to 100. Let's shoot for at least 300 today. 300 is the record. Again, we've broken the 300 record, but we haven't gotten to 400. If we can do that, fine. Again, I am starting to agree. Kepa needs a chance now. He is 2 or 3 years older. Again, forget about his age. Under Thomas Tuchel, yes, the argument would be that Mendy has played more games, but he's done better under Thomas Tuchel. And like I mentioned before, Mendy overall in his short Chelsea career has made so many mistakes. Maybe 3 times the mistakes Kepa Arrizabalaga has made between the sticks. Go check it out. I haven't actually looked at the numbers, but I can guarantee you that's the case. And again, that's not me saying that Mendy is a bad goalkeeper, but he needs maybe again like Emperor said. I think Emperor, that's a delicious contribution actually, by saying maybe he performs, that is, he's hanging on, that is, performs on hunger. Was that how you phrased it? You know, his performance was hanging on. Yeah, his performance was hanging on hunger, and now, and now because he's lost that hunger, he's underperforming. Here again, I'm going to repeat myself. This guy averages at least one mistake per game, and it looks like probably 2 mistakes per game now. Yeah, but that's, by the way, again, here it says, according to, again, we'll talk about that. I'll highlight it if we have time. I hope that's the case. We'll be able to get 2 players. We really need them. If Kepa made mistakes, people wanted him dropped. At West Ham, gave away a pen, got beat from the edge of the box. Yep, I remember that again. Punched the ball into the net. Error versus Madrid. Others he got away with. We were not paying attention to most of them because he hasn't led to goals.
Yeah,
but that's, by the way,
the Brentford game. When he made that pass, and then I think they shot wide, and he does it nearly every game. So
in most cases, we just been lucky because the numbers would have been twice as much right now. And for Mad Mullah, I can see your comment, but for your avatar, I'm concerned about highlighting it. Yeah, I think you're showing a middle finger there, and that will come across to some people. That will be offensive to some people. So again, I'm going to skip in your comments. It's not like for anything else in case. Thomas Tuchel is the problem we're having right now. It's hard time. We drop Mendy and give Kepa a chance. I can't say that enough. You're saying that right now. So I'm going to bring in those on the panel, to speak their man. And quickly, what Liam Lane was saying, I think he emailed me the comment, said, Coachella, I said that when you play Kai, when it's consistently poor, and when you could play a Sterling as a false 9 and bring a Pulisic on and give him game time, it smacks of blatant favoritism for me, and it's a reason for the infighting within the squad. Yeah, you could argue that's a good reason for some grumbles or dissents to start emerging in the club. I'm going to come to you. Your thoughts on the Mendy, Kepa Arrizabalaga, argument.
Yo. This is it, isn't it? I can't disagree with what a lot of you are saying. He's off form, isn't he? He's a bit. His form is not the best at the moment. This was someone that was supposed to replace someone that was losing form. I lost form for 2 years, and now it looks like he's losing form. So the beauty we have is having 2. Ideally, we have 2 number 1s at the club. So we have the luxury of dropping one and bringing one on if one is off form. But in the long term,
both are world-class goalkeepers. You can't argue that.
They're not both world-class goalkeepers. They're both
okay. Your argument.
They're both number 1. So we have the luxury of having that situation of dropping one if one is off form and replacing them with the other. Again, this situation will not apply to Liverpool. It will not apply to Manchester City. Manchester City before this season, they will not drop Ederson and bring in Zach Stefan to play 20-odd games if Ederson was off form. Liverpool will not drop Alisson and bring in what's his name? Sorry.
The guy that played their second choice goalkeeper, if you want to phrase it like that.
They won't bring in Adrian to play 20 games. So their luxury is different from our own. We have that luxury, but it's based off form. We have identified Edouard Mendy as our number 1, and that will need to be exercised. Obviously, number 1s have off days, off form. The only reason why we can argue that Kepa's this and Kepa's that is because we have the luxury of having 2 number 1s. What I will say, or what I will hope will happen, is that we do exercise the bench situation of dropping Mendy maybe for a game or 2. Whether or not Kepa does find form or what have you, obviously Kepa will know that, this is my time to shine. But it won't change the fact that Mendy is our number 1 goalkeeper. And if we are now setting the precedent of him getting dropped, we need to make a quick decision of his role before it turns into a big explosion. Now, again, this just sums up where we are at the moment. I think we are all in transition from everywhere, from all departments of the game in the club, and a definitive decision will need to be made. Now, I don't believe that Mendy is going to cost us any more points, or it's going to be a bad one for us. I believe he will do the opposite. I think he will save us a lot of points. Obviously, we have a situation in which he is off form, and his mistake cost us terribly. I would like to imagine that the coach, the goalkeeping coach, set piece coaches, what have you, will rigorously work with Mendy and find out what the hell is going on, and let him know that your position could be under threat. There's no hiding that we can get. Bentonelli can take a position.
Can I ask you what Mendy on form? What does that mean? Because if we carry on playing from the back, Mendy does.
Then we just advise Mendy, you don't play from the back anymore. That's not your forte. We play to your strength. If you can't play from the back, if you're not good with your feet, you don't play from the back. It's not by force. You start kicking it long, innit? And look, kicking it long. Look for your distribution. Find somebody up the pitch as opposed to playing it with the defenders. Because it seems to me that you're not good on the ball. When the press comes, you don't know how to dribble. You're in two minds. Your mindset is not straight. So just eradicate you trying to play out the box. Go long, and we'll take it from there. Focus on your strength. You're a good shot stopper. You got good presence in the goal, and that works in your favour. So work to those. Again, I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's done out here. Maybe he does need to sit on the bench. But what primarily needs to happen is that this mistakes needs to be addressed. Because if it does come to a situation where Kepa does take his place and Kepa does it absolutely well, let's say Kepa gives us 3-4 clean sheets with impeccable saves, what are we saying that Mendy is dropped for the whole season? So then we've dropped a number one that we brought in to replace. So we're now in a sticky goalkeepers in where you can't have that sticky situation. You need a definitive number one, and you need to have a definitive number two. Everyone needs to know their roles. In this situation, it differs. So yes, in the short term, because of the mistakes he has done, and this ain't the first time, I will drop Mendy. Mendy, sit out, take a breather, sit down, look at the game from the other way, chill out. It's okay. See how others do it. See what you could have done, and then come back in again. Because you are my number one. Mendy is my number one goalkeeper, not Kepa. Kepa is good. I would imagine Kepa coming in the cup competitions, but Mendy is my number one. But I have to understand that Mendy does come off form, so Mendy may need to sit off because the form is very detrimental to our game, and it's costing us points. So yeah, I would sit on the bench a few games, and you come back stronger. But for the long term, he will need to work on it. I don't want to see Mendy being a second choice goalkeeper in moving forward. I need him to work on this game and get that going. That's how I got to see it.
Yeah, again, I totally understand the argument right there. Again, if you're watching, we need just 20 more likes to get it to 100 likes. If we can do that, I'd really appreciate that. We have the poll asks, should Mendy be dropped for the next game? Yes, it says drop him already. It's 65%, and 36% says no, his performance will worsen. Again, Ty, have you spoken about this issue? If not, you go ahead. We have an entrant.
I wanted to counter what IBZ said, and something.
Go ahead, counter it, Ty.
And there's a question I have to ask. All right, so based on the mistakes that Kepa was known for, and looking back at the fact that under Lampard as well, when we were conceding a lot of goals and Mendy was in goal, does the same stance remain the same? Because the goals that I can remember Kepa was conceding, most of them were long shots or simply shots that he was blocked by a defender and he was beaten by an inch where he brought his hand across and he tried to do a save and it went past his hand. Would you say that the exact same excuse can be given to say that the defense in front of him was not the most ideal? Because when Kepa played with quote-unquote better defenders in front of him, like an informed Rudiger, an informed Silva, I don't want to say informed Chalaba, but he was in some good form. We realized that Kepa was doing better. And even in that period, in was it February or whenever we played Man City, we saw him actually doing good in those games, leading up to Spurs, Man City, and he considered that curling effort from KDB. So we see that the same excuse could be given, because I'm seeing people blame Kepa for making mistakes, but when Mendy makes those mistakes, it's not really of the same standard, because the shots that I see Kepa miss fail to stop is because of his height and also the long shots. That's what his reputation is known for. Salah's goal, and it goes on like that. So
I hear what you're saying. Well, so but okay, we have to understand the roles in it. Are we saying now? Are we in a position where we are going to push the narrative where we're going to treat goalkeepers like outfield players and be in a unique situation like we are, and saying if one player has a few games off and it's costing them points, we drop him for the other? Are we going to push that narrative? Because that is okay. We can start this. We can start that trend and see other teams following that trend of changing goalkeepers mid-season if one is off form. We can't do that. So in this situation, we're going to have to give Mendy a bit of more of a blight than Kepa Arrizabalaga, because of the time Kepa Arrizabalaga has had. I'm not saying that Kepa Arrizabalaga is done out here. He can well and truly be a number one for a top side, but he's not our number one. He's our number two. But even if he is our number two, he's a good number two in which we can rotate. If in the same situation where Mendy is in a situation where he's off form, we can bring him. We can have the option to bring him in and Mendy sit on the bench for a few games. Whether that will be another of our detriment, who's to know? But we have that luxury. So I'll have to give Mendy more time, because Mendy has proved that the difference he made.
How long is more time?
Well, I mean, he's our number one.
From the West Ham game till now, it's still happening.
Then we sell him before the transfer window
Every
goes.
game, even that's his best. You still look at it and see there are errors.
Then we sell him. We sell him in before we sell him in the end of the transfer window, and we bring in a number two for Kepa. Yeah, is that what we're saying? Then we might as well do that.
You know what this reminds me of.
I think here's the thing. Go ahead, Ty. Quickly, go ahead. Because we have two panelists who haven't said anything about this. Go ahead.
I'm going to quickly say it. This reminds me of something else Winter Surfer said in that stream months ago. There's always going to be this cycle of, okay, this goalkeeper is poor, we buy another goalkeeper. That's the same pattern. We had Czech, we bought Kurtzwa obviously did what he did. We signed Kepa didn't work out, we signed Mendy. I know the stance is very close to saying that we need, if Kepa leaves and if Mendy continues to be like this, that's what some fans are saying. I'm not saying you guys are saying that. We should go and find a different goalkeeper. So the cycle is going to continuously be that, okay, this one's not doing it, we're going to sign this one. That is something that is going to always be there. But I think there's a lot of sentiment surrounding around Mendy because of the Champions League win, the saves he had to do and things like that. And even against Brentford with that 1-0 win that we had and everything. So there's going to be sentiment surrounding around him as well.
Yeah, it's still split. It's still split with me. I mean, again, like I said at the top of the show, it's very hard to digest what the problem is, what is what. You know, we're just in for a roller coaster. You just set this is what I said at the beginning. You set your standards, set your expectations, so you're not worried. You're not in a mental health issue when it comes to Chelsea about how we're doing. So you know where we are. We are in transition. So I'm expecting a lot of question marks everywhere until Tuchel can figure out his 11, figure out his players, and get the ball rolling. Again, I have reservations about my opinions about Tuchel, but I can't judge him yet because he hasn't got his squad, and it'll be very
again. That's important. And just quickly again, I'm seeing, but I can't highlight this comment because of the avatar. Like I explained to him, he said it's pointing at 6. He says, yeah, but I get it. You said, we didn't lose because of Mendy. We're not saying we lose because of Mendy, but for every problem, there's a root, so to speak. And Mendy, you could say he was the one. That howler was what gave the Leeds players the confidence. Yeah, let's keep doing what we're doing. It's working. Because I'm going to say this again. We matched them tempo for tempo. The first 15, 20 minutes, we matched them. The game was back and forth. You could argue. We matched them tempo for tempo. But then after that goal, you can see the shoulders of our players dropped. And him in particular, like, I feared he was going to make the same mistake in the same game. But that's, by the way, again, we need just 14 more likes to get it to 100 likes. Again, if we can get 200 by the end of the show, I'd take it because we didn't have that many people watching today. But more importantly, keep liking the video, guys. If you haven't, and do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, we're just how many away to get to 6,000 subscribers? We're at 5,874. We're not in a few days, I know. We'd get that even before I go. And again, I'm taking another 3 days of break soon. But that's, by the way, Matt, bringing your fight, bro. Welcome to the panel. I hope you're well. Before I go to Lionel Joel.
I want to let everyone get their thoughts and feelings out. I've already spoken on this 1,000 times. I'm coming here for the 1,001st time already. So I've had enough of speaking it, honestly. I'm sick of it. But Edouard Mendy is rubbish on his feet. People got to realize that. I've been saying it since February. Edouard Mendy there's no discipline in this team. There's no discipline. And especially with our keeper, Edouard Mendy. This player needs to be dropped for the sake of his career. Because he's been playing, we said back in February, Coach. I remember we said back in February, we said Mendy has no competition. What's the point of thriving? And
the argument was that the goalkeepers don't need competition.
Yeah, it's true. They don't. Okay.
Yeah, but we're lucky to have two good goalkeepers that if we manage them perfectly. Here's the thing, IBC, I get your argument.
Listen
bro.
to too much of Andrew.
Why does Man City have one goalkeeper? Why does Barcelona? I mean,
because they're world class.
Before you have two good goalkeepers that much, before you have to look, you know, as happened by accident.
Had to engineer his move away to Nottingham Forest because he cannot be seen as a backup. He is not a number 2. He's a number 1. He had to engineer. You don't see.
Here's the point. Here's the point. Okay, Matt, go ahead. When Matt finish, you can respond. Let's just give Matt finish, then you can respond to IBC, and I have a response to that your argument in particular. Go ahead, Matt.
The thing is, you listen too much of Andrew, right? And they're world class keepers. Mendy is not a world class keeper. He was a world class keeper for 2 games. He's an average at best keeper. He's nothing special.
So we sell him and we get a world class one then, based on your analogy.
I would, yeah.
Let him finish. And IBC, remember, you said both goalkeepers are not world class. Remember, you said that.
Slander is wild. It's wild.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
It's wild.
Yeah, okay, Matt, go ahead, finish, so we can bring in the next speaker. Go ahead, Matt.
It's the same thing since February. Same thing. He's been stuffing up on his feet. How can a keeper be world class if he can't use his feet? And then the 5s can use his feet better than him. He's rubbish at his feet. World class keepers need to be good all round. Edison, Allison. You can even classify Lloris because these keepers can use. They're all rounders. So you're right. I would go for another keeper.
Can I just add as well on your point? Can I just add on your point as well? It's not only his feet. His distribution is so poor. He can't find a man. Like it's can't. Come on, guys. Let's be honest.
His reflexes.
Mendy,
he's too tall. His reflexes are horrible as well. The only thing is good. He's a good shot stopper. Because
let him drop. Let him drop. He can always come in. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm fine with Mendy staying. I don't care if Mendy stays, but I've always said we need to go for Navas. We need to go get someone. If we want to get a good keeper, go for someone else. That guy from AC Milan, go get him. Go get someone because this guy, if you want to finish first, second, even Kepa, these guys aren't world-class keepers. If you want a good keeper that we don't need to rotate, you go buy a world-class keeper. No, we bought him for cheap. There's nothing wrong with this signing. It was a good signing, but don't classify him as world-class and don't sit here and give excuses for him. He needs to be dropped for a couple of games to be shown discipline. Put Kepa in there because under Tuchel, no one's ever rebutted to this. Where has Kepa made a mistake in goals on the Tuchel? He hasn't. That's the thing. And he needs to be playing a game to show his qualities and maybe overtake Mendy. They got to have competition.
He literally made a mistake in the final of an FA Cup game. What are you talking about?
Hang on. Was he in goals?
Yes, of course he was. Of course he was. When Tielemans scored the goal, he couldn't reach because he was too short.
Okay, Lionel, you're coming in a bit. Go ahead, Matt. Drop. Yeah, go ahead, Matt. When you drop, Lionel can come in. Go ahead.
He's waffling about 2020, right? And that was a good shot, right? Mendy can't even kick a ball for 5 meters, and you're telling me, because the keeper can't save long shots. Here's the difference, right? And managers before the game, are they going to tell their players to press the hell out of Mendy? Yes, they are. Everton did it. They weren't good enough. Spurs, they're not a pressing team. Leeds are a pressing team. They did it. You think Marsh is going to tell their players to take long shots because Kepa's in goals? Absolutely not. Because long shots are not an easy thing to do. If you play football, you know it's not an easy thing to do. But pressing, it's not that hard. You got a young squad. You got stamina. You can press. And Mendy is a player. You press him, he's done for.
Long shots.
So what would you rather have on the pitch? I would rather have a keeper. I'd rather have a keeper who can kick a ball. I'd rather have a keeper who can, save a shot. Now, I'm not suggesting Kepa, but I am at the same time because I still want us to go for another keeper, despite having Kepa at its pitch. But it's the same things with Mendy. The thing is, you guys have a brain of a goldfish, and you guys forget it. We spoke about this back in March, that he can't use his feet, that he's doing the same thing over and over again, and then he comes back and he's doing it now. Watch it. Next game, he might have a good game, and it'll go through our heads. Come back, game week 6, we'll have the same conversation. It's been the same thing for 6-7 months. No one's
your argument. Sorry to cut you. Wait, let me before the next panelist. Before you come in, bro. Let me just before you come in, brother.
There's a reason why he started his career 28. There's a reason why, because he's not good enough.
Wait. We're honouring. I'm talking about his contract here. We're talking about the role he came in to do. Yeah. So you're saying we brought in Mendy. He's had a year and a bit, say 2 years now, and you're saying based on your analogy, because of his form you've seen, he is not good enough to be our number one going forward, and we should bring in another number one. So what do we do with Mendy?
No, I don't care. Mendy can stay for I don't care. Mendy
so we have 3 goalkeepers. We have 3 goalkeepers on the bench.
Hang on. If you let me finish, I can tell you. The only thing I want him to do is get dropped, right? To be shown discipline. He can maybe come back from this. I don't know, but he needs to get dropped first for us to even dictate that. Because
more important, yes. Then we're all making the same point. More importantly, we can now agree that Mendy needs to be dropped.
Sorry? I'm not making the same point.
Yeah, you come in. Lionel will come in. I'll bring you. I'll bring you in.
I'm not making. I'm letting you know. I'm not making.
Matt, have you dropped? Go ahead, Matt. Have you dropped?
What?
I'll just repeat it because people, like to cut in when I'm talking, but that's fine. Mendy needs to be shown discipline. That's it. Sell him, keep him. I don't give any. I can't swear. Can't even give. I don't care. Just drop him. Put Kepa in. It's not reactionary because I said this back and forth.
You actually said the same thing. You actually agreed he needs to be dropped for his own good.
As in sell him, in terms of selling him.
No, we don't need to sell him. I recognize he's a good goalkeeper, but he's been made. If you ask me, I'd say he's been made to feel like it's indispensable. This guy, but go ahead, let Matt drop so we can bring in other panelists.
Let me finish it. Okay. I don't care if he says, I don't care if he says, but at the moment, I'll keep him. I don't care. First step is he needs to be disciplined. Get him off that pitch. Then we can dictate from there. Kepa needs to come on. He needs to have his chance. Bring him in. If that flops, we can have another conversation then. But first, we haven't got to step 1. It's been 7 months, and we haven't gone past step 1. And that's what I'm upset with Tuchel on. It's not even Mendy's fault. He knows his shit. So Tuchel needs to show some discipline and drop him.
All right, thank you very much. I know you forget about the language here, but don't worry, Matt. I know you made your point. Every panelist that has spoken has agreed Mendy needs to be disciplined one way or the other. IBZ, you say so, sell him, it's the same thing. But one thing we can agree, I think so. I forgot who said that on this panel. Mendy needs to be dropped for his own good. And like Emperor mentioned, it looks like his performance was hanging on his hunger, and he's lost the hunger because he's got so many nominations. He's got won so much in such a short time. He needs to be dropped. Even the way Tuchel made it happen, the way the whole thing I explained about the World Club Cup, the Carabao Cup final, the way it happened, clearly, if you ask me, from an outside, I'd say disrespectful to Mendy and making him feel like he's practically a god, returning from AFCON and straight going to the camp and starting over Kepa Arrizabalaga, who you could argue, if it wasn't for his brilliance in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, who wouldn't even be in the final. That's my point, the handling of the whole thing. Go ahead, Lionel. Go ahead, come in.
What is going on? What is everyone talking about? He is our number one. Of course he's going to come from AFCON, where he's just won, saved the penalty. Of course he's going to play. Like, what is going... Okay, first of all, Chelsea fans need to relax. I don't understand what all this conversation about Mendy being dropped and he deserves to be dropped. Mendy has saved us in so many games as compared to the mistakes that he's done. All these goalkeepers that you guys are talking about, Alisson, Edison, whoever, they all make mistakes. Alisson has made plenty of mistakes. Where
Can I say something quickly? Can I say something quickly?
You can't kick a ball. Mistakes. You can't kick a ball.
Can I say something quickly? You continue.
They've all done those mistakes. What are you talking about?
How consistently? Lionel, how consistently have they made the mistake?
What is consistent? How many?
In terms of Mendy averages a single mistake per game. In some games, you see 2-3 times.
Where'd you repair that stat from? That's an agenda-driven stat. One each game.
Okay, let Lionel finish. Declare you coming. Let Lionel finish. Go ahead, Lionel.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear no fake stats. Rip out on an estimation on how you feel.
Where's that stat? You guys are it's
one
just
per game.
Campaign against Mendy has started.
Yes, we were outplayed by Leeds. It's not just a Mendy thing. Yes, Mendy made a mistake, but at all these top goalkeepers that you guys keep throwing out, they have made mistakes similar that have led to goals. Right?
And how often?
Exactly. He's not answering.
So how often as compared to what?
As compared to Mendy, how often has Alisson made? Have you followed Mendy's Chelsea career since the West Ham game?
Okay, but how many have led to? How many are you talking about? How many mistakes are you talking about, Coach?
There's a 2-minute 20 video.
I have a video.
But how many? I'm asking you.
There's a video that can show all the mistakes Mendy has made.
I think I've seen that video. It's about four mistakes.
There's a video showing how many mistakes Alisson has made. There's a video showing how many
this was in the last 3 months.
Neuer has made.
Hey, you want to know which one's the best video? Watch the Kepa video. Everyone, if you're gonna watch a video, watch the
Can we take this one by one? I think we're talking at the same time. Let's allow Lionel his time to make his point. You can come and declare once it's done.
I'm busting to talk,
because it's actually unbelievable. We were outplayed by a better team. It's as simple.
Nobody is arguing against that.
Yes, Mendy made a mistake. Goalkeepers make mistakes all of the time. It's fine. The way that Mendy has come in and solidified that goal as compared to what we had before is a big step from what we've had before, right? That is the truth. Kepa, the fact that people are saying that Mendy should be dropped and Kepa should come in is so laughable. It's the biggest joke I've ever heard. How have we? You speaking? The last guy that was speaking said we have a goldfish memory and we forgot. Do you remember why we brought in Mendy in the first place? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just.
Have you not seen Kepa under Tuchel? He hasn't made a mistake.
It's just been bashing Mendy, and yes, he's made a mistake. We all saw that he made a mistake. I'm sure where he is right now, he is regretting that mistake that he's made. But Mendy is our best choice right now.
Yeah, but regretting doesn't solve the problem. Here's the argument right here, Lionel. Maybe you're misunderstanding the argument. Mendy has been made to feel indispensable, and that's not correct. It's been since the West Ham game.
Number one, Alisson feels indispensable at.
How consistently has Alisson made such high-profile mistakes like Mendy?
He has. If you want, I can go on YouTube right now and put up a video of mistakes.
He's right. He's made heaps and not punished as much.
All of these guys make mistakes. It's happened during the time when Alisson's father passed away. He was making mistakes constantly. In 3 games, he made mistakes leading to goals. Things that I've seen myself. I remember.
But that's normal.
That's not abnormal.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your point. I want to hear what the club has to say.
Whatever the reason for the mistakes, it's irrelevant. The mistakes were made. This is my point. You guys are talking about Mendy's mistakes. You don't know what's going on in Mendy's life right now for those mistakes to happen. Why is it irrelevant?
Should it matter to us? What is going on in his life? Should that matter to us?
Yeah, but this is my point. I made a point of a time frame when Alisson that I can remember without doing any research, but just watching that I can remember when Alisson was making mistakes after mistakes in 3 separate games that led to goals against Liverpool. This is the point that I'm making. And then you said you had a trauma.
Can I ask you this? Can I ask this, Lionel? Do you know why Liverpool went for Alisson, right?
Sure. Careless mistake in the Champions League final.
You remember that? So why don't they stick with him?
Mignolet as well. Yeah, Mignolet as well.
I'm talking about goalkeeping errors.
Do you know why?
What's the
The
question?
amount of flack that
let me finish with Declan. Let me finish with Lionel. Declan, I know you're in for this fight. That's why we came in probably.
I was going to make the Karius point that you brought up. You brought up Karius.
The question is, why did they sell Karius?
No. You know what happened to Karius? He caused so much abuse after that mistake, that big mistake in the Champions League, right?
And you think that was why they sold him, because of the abuse and not the high-profile mistake?
He actually left.
They haven't sold him yet. Okay.
No, they loaned him.
Yeah, so he had to
but
get.
My question was, why did they go for Alisson?
Well, what I'm saying, and the point I'm bringing up with that is, when you punish a keeper for a mistake like Karius, right? It makes them worse. It diminishes the career. Where Matt's talking about needs to be disciplined, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard, right? After someone done a mistake, you have to help this.
One mistake.
Anytime any player does a mistake,
why didn't we help Kepa? Why didn't we help Werner?
Hold on, before Mendy came in, did Kepa get dropped? Kepa did so many mistakes, right? Way more that he made Mendy look good, right? Kepa did so many mistakes. He was non-existent, and the difference from Kepa's mistakes and Mendy's mistakes, because we already knew that Mendy is not the best on his feet, and that's where his mistakes have come from. But Kepa's mistakes are keeping mistakes. He is non-existent in any aerial ball that comes in, right? He makes decisions he tries to be smart and gets the side, and he's letting easy goals. And anyone that takes a long shot, right? He doesn't have the agility to get to it. He's inviting. I never seen that many long shots.
Pressure. Mendy's dividing pressure.
But listen, no. The point I'm making, did Kepa get dropped? Before Mendy came in, did Kepa get dropped? Onto the bench, discipline.
Caballero played in the West Brom game with Drew 3-3. He was dropped.
How many? How many games? Dropped. Do you know why he got dropped? He got dropped when he didn't want to come off.
Yes, under sorry, yeah.
Yes, yeah. But did Kepa get dropped for a mistake he did in the game?
Isn't that an example of discipline for something they're not doing right? It still counts.
He undermined the goal.
But go ahead, Declan. Go ahead.
Undermining the manager. He got fined from the club. And if the
go ahead, make your point, bro. Let's start cutting each other off. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, when Kepa got dropped, right, which was for undermining the manager, right? That's a sellable. If they could sell him, they would have sold him. That's how big of a mistake that was, for not coming off, right, and making us look like clowns in front of the world, right? That's what that was. But before that, right, Kepa never got dropped, right, for a mistake that he did, right? Just the same way we're calling for Mendy, right, after a mistake that he did, which is not his first mistake, right? It's happened, and just like Leonard brought up too, it does happen to keepers as well, right? What's happening now is that Mendy's getting punished for the mistakes that he's done, right? Because sometimes keepers get away with it, and people have amnesia and they forget about those mistakes. A lot of keepers do some mistakes, right? And they don't get punished for it, and people forget about those, right? But what's happening now is that Mendy's form is dipped, right? And everyone's calling for his head, right? Even when Kepa was making those mistakes,
when you say calling for his head, what do you mean?
Getting dropped.
To be benched.
To be benched.
So you don't think benching him would be good for him?
No, it wouldn't be good. Oh. And I'm making the same, and I had the same stance when we didn't have Mendy, and when Kepa was doing mistakes, right? I said the same thing about dropping if Kepa was dropped, right? But when Kepa did what he did, right, in that game, I want him sold. The problem here is that ideally, let's get another keeper in. What we got Mendy for cheap, but you know what's preventing us from getting another keeper in? If you guys think Mendy's not good enough, it's Kepa.
If you don't say that, I'm going to ask you your ID. I knew you were going to come to that, but go ahead, brother.
Yeah, again, it is Kepa's wages. The thing that you guys don't know, right, is that Mendy's contract he's being paid like a backup keeper. Right now, what we have in terms of wages is a first keeper at second keeper wages.
Yeah, that's
right?
not his fault. I don't know.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Kepa is
Mourinho
preventing us from getting another keeper in, right?
Mourinho.
Kepa doesn't deserve. For me, hold on.
That's why he's coming in. Anyway, like all of this.
Look, if we can get rid of Kepa, we'll get rid of Kepa first time. But the thing about Kepa doesn't deserve another chance, and everyone has amnesia because Kepa has mistakes in him way more than Mendy, right? And for people to just be reactionary, and what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a Mendy that could be worse because of what you guys, because of benching him and your discipline and all these things you guys think will help, right? And then we'll throw a Kepa in there, and once Kepa starts doing mistakes, you'll call for his head too. And what you're going to have is two out-of-confident keepers.
And that's why we have another goalkeeper who's good to come in when the one that is starting he has made several mistakes.
The reason why we got.
So what are you going to do? Just keep So you're going to keep rotating keepers as soon as they do one little mistake.
Hang on, what if Kepa performs? Because Kepa has.
Is this one little mistake? Declan, are you really saying one little mistake?
No, all right.
Pay attention to Mendy's games from the West Ham game till now. Are you calling it one? Do you know Andrew was for you? Andrew was making the same argument as you. Bobby was making the same argument as you. But they're seeing what I and Matt and others have seen since February. Now they're calling, yes, maybe
no, but why select February? I'm judging Mendy from when he came in. I'm judging Mendy from when he came in. Mendy, we know. Mendy can have a world-class performance, and Mendy can have a mistake in him, yeah?
Judge him from sorry then too. But if you're going to say that you're going to judge him from he came in Mendy, judge Kepa from sorry then.
Yeah, exactly. Judge Kepa from under sorry.
I didn't judge from
Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, my word's been twisted. Ty, I did say I defended when Kepa made mistakes, even in Sarri Day, Lampard, whatever, right? Back from when he's been here, I defended him. You know when I stopped defending him? When he made us look like clowns. And that's when I stopped defending him, right?
When was that?
And I'll tell you now, when I was defending Kepa had way more mistakes in him.
Let's stop cutting in. Let him drop. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Kepa had way more mistakes than Mendy. And I still stuck up for him. Mendy, right, has shown us...
Right, let him finish. Go ahead.
Kepa's downfall wasn't to making mistakes all the time. Kepa's downfall was making us look like a clown and undermining the manager, right? That's what it was. Kepa still might have been our number one keeper if he didn't do that, right? That's the truth of it. But I still have the whole same stance as Kepa, right, as I do for Mendy. But Mendy has in him, and what made us forget a lot, has world-class performances. And he's done it many times. But we also know he has a mistake in him now and then. But the worst thing you could do, right, for a keeper's confidence is to drop him when he does a mistake, right? And that goes with Kepa as well. And what you guys are trying to think that's the best, right? And alluding to, and I see it everywhere. It's not just you guys, chat, and a lot of people saying it. This guy needs to be dropped, and then we put Kepa in, and let's say Kepa has one good game, and then the second game he does a mistake, right? Do we drop Kepa? And then we put Mendy in, and then we just keep rotating, and then you have two keepers that are so scared to make a mistake, right? Because as soon as one little mistake, do you know even that applies to players. You destroy a player if he's playing on eggshells. That's what it's like playing. Imagine doing something at your job and you make one little mistake. This is any job out there.
Why are you calling this one little mistake, Declan? Can you be objective? Be truthful, bro.
No, it's why I call it a little mistake on the scope of many games and whatnot. When you're playing in the game, there's so many actions in a game, right? You could do everything right, and then one mistake, and it could be the worst. I won't call it little because we got punished for it, right? That leads to... I'm trying to say 10 things at once here. After a goal, right?
Yes. The tensions are high. Go ahead.
It will overshadow his good performance at Tottenham. It will overshadow everything he's done. It overshadows everything else. It's just like it's like when we talk about Kepa, and Ty brought up well too. Everyone forgets about Sarri Kepa. Do you know what I mean? Everyone forgets about what he did because he has stuff that overshadows it, right? But what you guys, and maybe it's a lack of being in the game and whatnot, right? When you play with the anxiety of I can't make a mistake, right? And you're going to have two out of confident keepers, and this comes
The
with
client
players
is
as
going
well.
psychological now, but go ahead. I get your point.
This is the psychology of it. This is the truth, and this is why I have this reasoning.
Yeah, he would drop in a bit, and
that's why I mocked
Emperor
Matt when he said discipline. Hey, Matt plays now too. I wish Matt. I bet you. Imagine try playing when your coach tells you, "Don't stuff up a pass. I'm gonna sub you," and you know what you'll do? You'll stuff up a pass.
Tuchel says that? You think Tuchel says that?
I'm talking about your coach in your Sunday league.
No, but I'm saying, what if
Wait, can I just say something real quick? Like, this thing
go
of
ahead.
saying,
Go ahead, Emperor.
this thing of saying Kepa is gonna have a bad form after being dropped. We're not calling for. We're not saying.
Ty, relax. Let him talk. So we know that the interruptions can be irritating for those that are watching. They're complaining already.
I have something to counter when he's done for Mendy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. This thing, Mendy, when Mendy came in, right? He was not first goalkeeper. He knew that he has to fight for his position, and we got world-class Mendy. Like, the fact that he had to fight for his position gave him that status, gave him the Mendy that we all like. Now we are saying drop him for one game so he gets that hunger back. Because this thing of him knowing that the coach is gonna go out and say, "Nah, Mendy is our first goalkeeper," it's in his head. The fact that he wins all these accolades, it's in his head, and he can get away with murder and mistakes on game after game after game. And you guys are saying we're highlighting the games that the mistakes that led to goals. What about the mistakes that he makes that don't lead to goals? But like people think we're just picking on individual mistakes. No, it's been a recurring thing in terms of form. Mendy's not been in form. Drop him so he gains that hunger back. That's all we're saying. We're not saying sell Mendy. We're not being reactionary.
Did you watch Mendy at Rennes?
It's something we've been seeing for a long time.
Did you watch Mendy at his old club?
I did, but you're talking to him.
Yeah,
so.
did you watch him?
No, only videos.
I did. I watched him. So what's the story?
So this hunger that the guy seeks, was it evident there? Like, would he have a downfall there?
No, he became a better goalkeeper at Chelsea Football Club. It's as simple as that. There are things he doesn't do there that he started doing at Chelsea. Has Mendy improved? Yes, but go ahead with what you were saying.
What I was getting at is that if anyone sees that Mendy's life, he didn't have a job for a bit, right? And he's been he's been fighting non-stop. Right, and maybe he's a little bit complacent, right? And you don't drop him straight away. Did Mendy have a bad last game?
You just recognize the problem? Complacency is the issue here.
Could be. No, I said could be. I'm not going to say it is.
No. You are accepting that's a possibility, and that's the concern. He's a human being. The fact that he came straight from AFCON, stood between the sticks after Kepa's brilliance in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, and then after Kepa made the brilliance in the penalty shootout, made sure we got to the final of the Carabao Cup. That alone is enough to subconsciously, make him not work hard enough to become even better. Don't you think Mendy has room to improve? Declan, do you agree Mendy has room to improve?
All goalkeepers.
Yes, he does.
Exactly. Then he needs to know that Kepa Arrizabalaga is capable of coming in and doing a good enough job, or even better.
Coach,
that's the argument. He's saying he's a bad goalkeeper. If he's a world-class goalkeeper, to you, fine.
Working.
Yeah,
but the reason we got Mendy is because Kepa wasn't working.
And now, if you're saying it that way, and now Mendy isn't really working, maybe he needs to sit on the bench a bit. And because Kepa sat on the bench, when Mendy went for AFCON, Kepa did quite well and didn't put a foot wrong.
But Coachella, that's what I disagree. We can all agree that he needs to improve, right? But putting him on the bench is not the way to do it, and especially after a mistake. Kepa hasn't shown anything to get a spot yet. Now, if the dip in form still continues, right, and then Kepa plays a cup game or whatever and shows great form, then there's a discussion to say, right, does Kepa deserve a chance, right? But even for me, not only dropping him doesn't improve him. I don't think Kepa deserves a spot. I don't think Kepa's going to do a good job, right? And with that too.
But that's your opinion, right?
No, but it's all up in the air.
Yeah, but
so you're calling for a bench of.
Everyone is giving opinions here. None of you know for a fact that Kepa's going to come in and do a good job. It's everyone's opinion.
But no one knows.
I agree. Go ahead, Declan. Go ahead, Declan.
Well, the main point here, and Leon's right. It's all opinion and a lot of guesswork. But the main fact is that I know if you drop a keeper, and especially a lot of players after what happened to and a mistake like that is highlighted and overshadowed a lot of his anything he's done right recently, right? It's going to make him worse. And what you're going to do is throw in a keeper that is a 50-50 or we have no idea what he's going to do, right? We don't know if he's going to play well. We don't know if he's going to be the old keeper, the good keeper. We don't know who we're getting or what form we're getting, right? We're getting a guy that was probably trying to get sold in the transfer window, and it didn't work out. This is the guy we're going to throw in, right? So you're getting a mixed bag and something random and something unknown. But what I know is drop Mendy after that, and you probably get a worse Mendy. Very likely a worse one.
Again, we get that's what we have to try
this discipline that Matt keeps saying, right? Yeah, Matt, you know firsthand, and I think it's more agenda driven. Discipline, right, is not going to work on a keeper like that, and especially punishing someone for a mistake.
Let me just say this quickly. Let me say this quickly. Just 1 second, please. Somebody in the chat, because I'm looking at my old update screen, is saying again of all this Mendy. We're not blaming Mendy for the loss. This argument started, and it's a good one. There's quite a lot to learn. It's been a brilliant show so far. Started when I said when we're matching Leeds tempo for tempo. Even the commentators did say it until we considered that goal. Then things went downhill there. Then we started talking about his mistakes, whether he needs to be dropped to be rejuvenated. Maybe that's the case. That's why we're arguing. And you know what? I'm going to try to host a second show where we do Chelsea players' performance analysis, where we get to each player, because there's no time. They were all poor. Even Thiago Silva, I know we respect him so much that usually we shy away from critiquing him. I can again, but this comment says it. So according to that logic, a second goalkeeper is just there in case your first goalkeeper gets injured. But the plays, but he plays no matter how poor in form he is. Yes, go ahead, Declan. I think Lionel Joe wanted to say something, but I'll read your round off before I bring Lionel Joe in.
I'll just answer Liam's question. He is right, and to play cup games, and usually.
Ty, you get a chance. Yeah, go ahead, Declan.
Yeah, just answer the question. Usually the second keeper is on a lower wage. That's why they're usually older keepers, and they're there to train up maybe a young keeper, and they are there just to injure. The confidence is probably needed. Is the highest priority and the main thing for a keeper. Massive. Out of any play, like you could probably get away with doing what you guys are saying with players. But when it comes to a keeper, you destroy that man's confidence, right? He's done. He's done. You've seen it in the game. You've seen it. I've seen how many keepers you thought were good, and then they can come crashing down. Karius that you brought up, that's what happened to him. He did the biggest mistake in one of the biggest games, right? Destroyed him. He had to leave, right? That's how bad it was. You think that Liverpool were just like, oh, well, we want to replace you straight away. No, that man wanted to get out of there, right?
But that's inaccurate.
That's why confidence. That's why you got to remember, confidence is the biggest thing, and you're going to destroy a man's confidence, not make him better, not hunger. There isn't this hunger, right? It's confidence.
With
so
the Karius thing, it's inaccurate because Karius had been making mistakes leading up to that final. By the time he made that mistake in final, a lot of his fan base were tired. This is what we're saying with Mendy. He's been making these mistakes, and he's going to get to a point where he's going to make a mistake in a big game where he's going to cost us, and he already has in that Real Madrid game. This is what we are saying.
But your solution is
we have two keepers that have done that.
What if Kepa performs though? What if Kepa performs?
What do you mean? What if Kepa performs?
We're all talking at the same time. Declan, round off. I know Lionel Chua, he has something to say. Ty has something to say. Go ahead and finish, Declan.
I'll just end it with adding something there. What if we play the new 18-year-old keeper we got, Selena? What if we play him and he balls out? Why don't we just play him?
Again, if the manager trusts him and plays him, fine.
Yeah, well, why don't we just take a risk on him?
Exactly, Declan. Let's take the risk. Let's
just you know what Tuchel should do? Tuchel should have the keeper's name in a hat and pull it out each game and see who plays.
Mendy's rubbish.
We're all talking at the same time. We're all talking at the same time. Let
Mendy has the ability to do a world class. Mendy has world class performances. We know that. Oh my God. And when he does, and he has a mistake in him too. So his mistakes overshadow everything he does. That's what's happening, and the way you guys are going about it, trusting an unknown Kepa, right? And what Kepa's going to do is you're going to destroy Mendy, right? It's not going to make him better. That's the biggest issue here. That's the biggest argument and disagreement we're having, is that you guys think that dropping a keeper right after a big mistake that's highlighted, right?
Not
it's going to make him better.
Not
so
a big mistake. It's plural.
Under Tuchel?
But that's, by the way, Lionel, you wanted to say something. I know Ty is also waiting to say something.
It doesn't matter what he's done under Tuchel.
Because he's done well. He's done very well.
Okay, let's take it one by one. Let's take it one by one. Go ahead, Lionel.
He had cover from Mendy, exactly.
Yeah, cover. Mendy wasn't even there. Mendy was in Africa while he was playing. What do you mean Mendy cover?
Can we take this one by one? It can be irritating for those that are listening. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Premier League game.
How many matches did he play while Mendy was away?
3 to 4. Brighton, Tottenham.
Big whoop. Mendy plays the chunk of our games.
Good on him. And he can be rested.
Matt, let him finish, Matt. Go ahead.
We played close to 40 games. It's evident that Mendy's going to make mistakes. It happens to everyone. You were talking earlier about how there's a 2-minute video that Mendy has of mistakes. There's videos, 2-3 minutes of Edison and Allison that you were praising so much. So what you're talking, like, your points are irrelevant, because every goalkeeper that you keep mentioning and you keep talking is better than Mendy, makes similar mistakes and have made mistakes that lead to goal on numerous occasions. So it's incorrect what you're saying. Mendy made a big mistake.
He's made 5 mistakes in the last 6 months leading to a goal just with his feet in general.
That led to
goals. Just with his feet.
That led to goals.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I can show you the clips.
5 mistakes that led to goals. Show me the 5 mistakes.
Matt, let him finish. Matt.
Put up because he just wants to keep waffling.
Not 5. There hasn't been 5 mistakes that have led to goals. That's incorrect.
You just spoke rubbish. 3 games.
I just said it. Leeds. Hang on. I can say it now. Leeds. I can say it now. Leeds. I can say West Ham. I can say Real Madrid. And there's 2 other ones.
But they're last year.
Which are exactly, because you're just making things up. Yes,
Everton, and there's Everton. There's Everton.
What Everton?
Oh no, there's Everton.
Yeah. What? Can I quickly?
All right, Ty, come in, make your point. Let's take it one by one. Lionel, do you still have a point to make?
Yes, the point that I'm trying to make is this conversation about Mendy is being overblown and being looked into when there's bigger mistakes than
scapegoated,
in
actually.
this team. He's being scapegoated for the...
No, we made it clear. We're not saying he's the reason why we're lost.
Jorginho was getting blamed yesterday.
No, I'm saying...
What do you mean? It's the reason you guys are making it the reason we lose many games, not one.
Exactly. Mendy has been exceptional for us when we needed him. And that's the reality. Yes, he has made mistakes like all goalkeepers make mistakes. That's the point, right? Instead of just looking at Mendy and the mistakes that he's made, look at that entire team and the garbage that they played against Leeds. The reason why they even needed to be a back pass to Mendy is because our midfield couldn't handle the press from Leeds. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, because Leeds pressed us well. What do you mean? So we're in the midfield for Mendy can't passing a ball.
What are you talking about?
All right, we shouldn't be talking at the same time. It's not helpful. It's not helpful, please. Go ahead, Lionel. Go ahead. You complete your point. Nope. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay, Ty, what you wanted to say something?
Yeah, and Lionel just said something, and I have to. I like to disagree with some things. Now, what he said about Edison, I can remember one game in particular where he made a similar mistake to a mistake that Mendy has made, but it's more of a howler. I can remember the game against Man United where he played the ball, was out of his goal, or he was away from his goal. And then I think it was McTominay made a shot and then ended 2-0. So he's had made mistakes. Here's something that I think, okay, so fine. There's opportunities and there's games where he has made mistakes and let to go. What about the game against Man United where he made the pass straight to Fred and then Fred skied it? What about the game where he slipped in the Super Cup and went straight to Gerard Moreno, whatever his name is, and he had to save it? Yeah. What about the game where he was making a pass to Silva and he nearly scored an own goal?
Let him finish. Declan.
I'm gonna make the fact that that's straight off that video. You're watching the video and commenting on every one. You might as well put the compilation in the chat.
It doesn't matter. Just let him go. Just let him finish.
The point I'm making, I can get the same video, right, of Kepa, and we can go through it. But it doesn't change the point, right,
he's done 5
of how we reacted after those mistakes. Matt, you keep saying, oh, what if Kepa plays well? What if Tuchel wants to sub Kepa and he doesn't want to come off?
Oh my God. He's probably Chelsea.
No, but if we're dealing with what ifs, Matt, are we dealing with what ifs? Or are we dealing with what I told you is that you guys believe what if Mendy gets dropped, right? And what if he gets better, right? And not considering what if it makes him worse, right? Which I'm telling you that's what's going to happen, right?
That's fine.
And what if Kepa comes on and makes a mistake? So what do you do after Kepa makes a mistake? Do you call for Kepa's head as well? Do you say Kepa needs to be, in your words, disciplined? Does Kepa need to be disciplined? And so where do we go? Do we go after Celine after that? And does the 18-year-old make a mistake? And does he get disciplined? And do we just keep cycling through our keepers?
There's one.
Is that what, like, have you guys seen this at any other club?
Yeah,
but there's one way to prove it, and that's
do you have an example at another club of rotating keepers with 3 keepers?
Can I finish my point, please?
That's literally why we got Mendy.
Hey, Ty, if you're just going to repeat the compilation, I'm going to pull out the Kepa one.
I said, you never listen. You just
no, you're commentating on a compilation of what recently as well.
It's not helpful. We're talking at the same time. Let Ty finish this point. We'll all get the chance to talk. Ty, go ahead.
You heard me make mention of some moments that I saw in a video. Yes, but did you let me finish what I was saying? I'm saying, yes, Kepa has made mistakes. And I was going to ask this follow-up question I've been asking for so long. When was the last time that you saw Kepa make a mistake on the Tuchel? He's played minimum games, but he had played 6 games.
Oh my God. Oh my.
Just let him finish. Just let him finish. Even if you disagree with him, let him finish.
Oh my word.
Played 6 games. He played 6 games during the period that Mendy was away. 6 games. Tottenham, a game in FA Cup, I think. Brighton, and so on. So the point I'm making is, Can I please finish? Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is, yes, everybody makes mistakes, fine. But if you're gonna use the same thing of, okay, Mendy made a mistake, off game, fine, yeah, he had an off game, but it's not the first time he's done that same mistake. If you made that same mistake, you need to learn from it. He's done it 4 times, and he keeps doing this trickery where even against Aston Villa, the second game on the Tuchel, he made that he tried to do some trickery, and then he beat the Aston Villa player. That was what he was trying to do against me. He tried to do some trickery, and then the player was able to kick the ball, get the ball around him. He tripped, he dropped, he realized that he was in trouble. The problem is not that he made a mistake. The problem is that it's a mistake he's made in the past. 5 times he's made that exact same mistake. And this is something that you should know. When you're in danger like that, yes, the past will. I'm not
Since you have all the stats, how many?
I'm not going to say that he should.
How many mistakes did Kepa make in 3 seasons?
The past.
What about under Tuchel?
The past.
You're talking about the past, Ty.
The past should not have happened.
We're talking about under Tuchel. We're talking about under Tuchel. Kepa has been fantastic.
No. You can't just cherry pick when you want to talk about something.
You can't just pick and choose. How many mistakes did he make?
Okay, can we let him finish? Let him finish. Even if you disagree, let him finish. Please, we're all talking at the same time. It will make the show useless for people that are listening. Go ahead, Ty.
What I'm saying is that the pass that he made, he should never have got that pass. But when you're under pressure, you might as well kick the ball out. You don't hesitate and try to trick out of your way. You're not an outfield player. You're close to the ball. Kick the ball out. If he went over a corner, I would have accepted that. Throwing, he waited 3 seconds, tried to do trickery. and he lost the ball. It's not the first time. He did it and
we all saw the match
against West Ham, and he slid it, and he
Can we let him finish? Let him finish.
He did it against Real Madrid, and the pass went to Benzema, and Benzema had an empty net to shoot at. It's not the first time. Kepa made a mistake against Liverpool against Man. I'm not going to say that he has made that mistake. He made that mistake, but ever since Kepa did that, he's been more careful. That one mistake,
I'm watching a 2020 compilation of Kepa.
You're saying that
mistakes is pretty long. Just give me some patience. You know how many mistakes Kepa's done?
All right. You know what? Let's move on. Let's move on for this goalkeeping argument because we're just gonna be going.
Hey, Ty, I got a question. How many times has Kepa had butter wrist? How he gets a hand to it, but it still goes in. I watched 5 minutes of about 8 examples.
You guys aren't listening.
28 times. I know the amount. 28 times.
We are listening, Matt. What I'm saying is that...
All right, guys. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. You know what? Because this it's turning into whataboutism. Yeah, it's really turning into whataboutism.
There's only one way to find out. Let's put on the 18-year-old Kepa and one way to find out. So
Can I talk, please? Shouldn't
Kepa prove his way into a team if you guys want him?
He's done well on the Tuchel. What has he done wrong in goal?
Let's move on from the goalkeeping argument. We're here to talk about the game overall. Can I talk, please?
I'm muting.
So, like, what are you talking
All
about?
right, I'm gonna start reading the chat. Abhinav says, "I'm giving you the solution. A cute game for Mendy. Again, cut you up again, and one for Kepa. Keep rotation again, but it's not gonna happen. The Tuchel has shown he doesn't trust Kepa Arrizabalaga. Bench Mendy or Fulham activates the option to buy on." Don't start today. The tension is high here. And again, so just because a player is criticized for poor form, he's being scapegoated. So we all better, and say nothing. Maybe we should just, again, that's why it's a brilliant show. We all cannot agree. We all see things from different lenses. Some people think, again, with a very good example, actually, convincing example, like from Declan and Lionel Jewel, that you don't drop goalkeepers like that. Again, it will get worse. But again, at the same time, we have people arguing.
Scapegoating to refer to the dropping of Mendy. Not we can criticize. I agree with what he said. We all criticize. We can criticize anyone's performance, but the scapegoating was the call of benching him.
All right, let me catch up with the chat. IZTZ says, "Get Pickford already proper Charles." You think so? Phantom Phantom is really just joking with us right now. Coach, don't worry about that. I think we'll find that happens whenever tensions are high on the panel. No, I'm not going to do that. Same thing is going on at Manchester United currently. They sold their backup goalie in Henderson and kept the hire. No competition for him. The rest is history. You agree with me? But some people on the panel will disagree with you. They don't think we should sell Mendy. They think he should still stay between the sticks no matter what. Again, I will say it again. Benching Mendy will wake him up. Some people think otherwise. Some people think it gets worse. But I'm one of those that believe maybe benching him for a while, for a few games, 2 games, or even a game will make him. That is because the truth is, for humans, when things in this situation, he thinks that he's undroppable, whether subconsciously or otherwise, because of the way Thomas Tuchel has handled the situation. And I'm not blaming him for that. Get that straight. I'm not blaming Mendy for him, feeling undroppable or not improving as he should have. He should have gone. That again, I just don't want to. I really want to move on from that, and I'm going to scroll to the very bottom of the whole thing we have in the chat already, and come back to the panel. I want to start with you, Declan. After watching the game, what do you think we needed to do? Because the team lacked character. You could see that. After conceding the second goal, it just looked like the players were playing as if it's over. And what do you think about the charity FC thing? Because no matter how you say it is well and truly in existence, it has happened for 4 years now consistently. We struggle against mid-table teams and bottom-table teams. To me, it's a character issue. It's a mentality thing. How do we solve that problem?
I think there's been an overreaction and a bit of, mixed with a bit of dementia, right? People with memory loss, people are quick to forget on where our stance was at the start of the season, where our stance was from the Everton game. We were on cloud 9 almost because of the Tottenham game. Tuchel played the same Tottenham lineup pretty much, but Kante, right? And now this team, you can call for any formation change, you can call for any lineup player, doesn't matter, right? This team, there was a great stat that this Chelsea team ran 11 Ks less than Leeds. So even when coach said we matched them for what, this team, there was mistakes and a lack of performance throughout the whole team. Everyone was bad and we got overrun. The difference here, and what I've been calling for a long time, is our ability to get a goal back. We can, Mendy can make a mistake. We can cop a freak goal. It happens in football that you can concede a goal from nowhere, and unlike source from a mistake from anyone, right? It happens. But our ability to get back in the game, our attackers are so bad. We were shooting into each other. They were shooting into each other. That's how bad it was, right? Our ability to convert, right?
But that's the truth. That's really the truth.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Because we did push for a goal, and if we did get a goal, the team's performance could have changed. But it just stunk throughout it was night and day from the Tottenham game that you saw, and maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's a wake-up call they need, right? But it was, you can't explain. You almost can't explain it. It was almost a contagious of bad performance. Like one player was so bad, like Gallagher. I think he's going to take some time, and I think people are forgetting something that a statement I made. I still counted the month of August almost as pre-season. There's still players learning the position. We got new players that hit the ground running, right? And now they look bad. We got players that might come in. We might end up with 3 players next week. Or no, sorry, there's in the week after when the transfer window ends. We might have 3 almost starting players. We might have new players. There's still some young players that can come in. Conor Gallagher looks a bit lost. Some other players, I think for me, Sterling still does all right? Still does what Sterling does. But Sterling got he got the Werner bug, where he's offside when he scores. So I think I'm almost going to write this game off as a one-off. This was, if you compare from Tottenham game, this is completely night and day, and I don't think you're going to get a repeat performance. Maybe it's a good wake-up call that we need. Maybe something changes, right? But I think I'm going to count it as a once-off. But the problem still exists there. I think there's still players that want to leave. That's a big part of the problem. That's a big part of the problem why everyone's saying, why didn't Tuchel play so-and-so player? I think there's a lot of players that are in limbo, that some players want to leave, some players don't know if they're going to stay, because if some players come in, then they go out. But if we don't get players in, those players stay, right? So we have a bit of an unsettled depth, right, in looming. That's why I think that these players don't come in. That everyone's saying, why don't you play Ampadu? Ampadu could be waiting to go on loan. That's why he doesn't play. Same with Chalobah.
Yeah.
That's
so overall, what do you think
play.
about the Charity FC factor? Because again, even if you think this is a one-off thing, it has happened so many seasons overall that it's a norm now to lose against mid-table teams or bottom-table teams.
No, because Charity FC came when even we played well and we gave goals away, right?
And we lose to Arsenal even when they've lost 10 million consecutive games, and we're the 10 million and one opposition, they will come and they will beat us.
Yeah, they turn up for the game.
City constantly loses to Tottenham.
Just the same way we turn up for the Tottenham games.
Exactly. That's why I'm asking. Why is that? Do you think it's a mentality issue?
Not for this game. This game was almost just bad all round. It's not even charity FC. This was a
deserved win for Leeds. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, no one turned up, and it was almost like I said. That's why it felt contagious, because the number of errors was all around the park. And it's like you even said, even Silva wasn't good. There wasn't even one player you can say that stood out.
Silva wasn't good, but we shy away from critiquing him because, we respect him that much given his pedigree and everything. Go ahead, Declan, so I can bring in Rodrigo. We'll take it one by one and then we'll call it a day because I have all the shows that we will have to host today. Go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of mentality, like you said, right, you brought up, in the game, it was just a pile-on. Just a pile-on on anything that happens bad, and it was just we were getting punished for a lot of errors, and then it looked like there was no way we were going to get back into this game. And that's why I said, like, if we got one goal, that all could have lifted and changed, right? Even a halftime, even a big change, something could have changed, but it was, the team was done in that game. That's how it felt, and that's why I'm gonna put it as one off, because it's how the game went, it's how the errors happen and whatnot. I don't think this is gonna be week in, week out. So this is a write-off game. This is maybe come from, like I said, this was the same team from Tottenham. So to criticize players that did well in Tottenham, what you want Tuchel to do, drop players that played well. So that's you can't even say that. So I think that lineup against Tottenham only was a once-off.
Yeah, again, and thank you for that. How about you, Lionel? What do you think? I know you heard the question yourself. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in some situations we do tend to be, like you said, charity FC. I think the name comes from somewhere. It comes from our attitude towards games, especially when it comes to smaller teams or games that some of the players may seem or may deem less of a challenge. But I think for yesterday, I agree with, it's Declan, right? I think it is.
Yeah, Declan, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with him because I look at yesterday's game and I look at the way Leeds were set up. They outran us in the most important part, and they won the middle of the park, and that was simple as that. I think Gallagher and Jorginho, there were so many times where they played 2-3 passes, beat Jorginho, and it was just 4 or 5 with one person on the wing against our defense. I think we were outplayed. I think tactically, Tuchel got it wrong. I think I understand why he plays Reece James at right centre back, especially because of the speed aspect. But yesterday, I think if he had played Reece James right wing back and maybe put Azpilicueta in, we would have had a better chance going forward. I think we saw that when he moved to a back 4. So yeah, it's a tough one to take. Obviously, it's against Leeds. We always want to win those games. I think it was like 30 years or 20 years since the last time they beat us. So we have to take the L. Thomas Tuchel has to take the L, but most importantly, the players need to take the L for this game. I think if we look at how we played against Tottenham, if we played maybe 60-70% of what we did against Tottenham, we would have had a chance. We might maybe not have won the game because the levels at which Leeds played yesterday were much higher than what Tottenham showed us the week before. So it's a tough one. We have to
in terms of intensity.
Yeah, especially. And, you go to Elland Road, the crowd is the way it is, like the history behind the fixture. There's a lot of things that go into it. I think we also look at Koulibaly's mistakes. Koulibaly made some really horrible mistakes. His first yellow card was horrible. His second yellow card was even worse, knowing that you're...
And didn't he do the same thing in the game against Spurs? So maybe because he got away with that one.
Yeah, but I mean, you're on a yellow card and you're pulling a player back. It's always going to be a second yellow card, no matter what. So, like you said, we have to look at each player and look at the mistakes that they've made.
Yeah, we have to also show on that. And again, it's either today or tomorrow.
Mendy made a howler. Like, no one can excuse that. Not De Klerk, not I. No one can, look at that, what he did, and say, oh, no, it's just, we can write that off. No, it was a horrible mistake, but these are things that happen. Jorginho made a horrible mistake against Tottenham that led to their first goal. So we can look at so many things that happen against Leeds, but we also have to look at that Leeds team and said that they wanted it more than we did. At the end of the day, they wanted it more than Chelsea did, and they got it. We have to look at ourselves. We have to pick ourselves up, and then we have to go again. So, again, like De Klerk said, this for me is a write-off. I think we're still in the early stages. We are in a transition period. We're still looking at who's coming in, who's leaving. Players aren't settled. Kai Havertz doesn't look like the Kai Havertz from the final few games of last season. Kai Havertz looked lost completely against Leeds, and these are the things that we need to look at. And I think once Thomas Tuchel has the players that he wants to come in, or even if he doesn't get the players that he wants. Once he has, it's definite that these are the players that I'm sticking with. No one is leaving. No one is going anywhere. I think we might see a better structure to this team, and more. It's just about wanting it more than certain teams, and unfortunately, Leeds just wanted it more. And
do you think signings can solve any of those problems you've talked about in any areas?
Yes.
Do you think we need signings?
Yes.
Where in particular?
I think Fofana needs to come in for sure to stop us playing Reece James at right centre back. I think with Fofana in there, because my idea or my thoughts behind Thomas Tuchel playing Reece James in that position is the speed. It's the speed of the attackers. So if Fofana comes in and he's able to run back and make those defensive decisions quicker than an Azpilicueta would do, then Reece James is going to solidify his position as a right wing back, and that we might get a better creation from there. I think in the midfield, I'm sorry to say, I've been banging on this drum for so long now. Jorginho is not good enough to be our holding midfielder. Once he gets beaten, it's over. There's no tracking back. There's nothing that he does to help the team once he gets beaten in the middle of the park. And we saw that against Leeds yesterday. They played three really young, hungry center players in the middle that had Jorginho's number every single time. Every single time they had Jorginho's number. So we need someone to come in, whether it's Declan Rice or whether people think it's De Jong, whoever, someone else needs to come in, because when Kovacic and N'Golo Kante aren't there, this is the problem. We lose that battle in the middle of the park. And then up front, I've been trying to stay away from saying this, but we might need Aubameyang to come in.
Oh no, you didn't say that.
You know what?
You didn't say that.
Coach, honestly, looking at the way Kai Havertz was playing yesterday, how average Mason Mount has been in the past 3 games.
You just reminded me again. I think we need a show where we talk about analyze player performances one by one. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, something needs to change up front. And, the discussion of where we need an out-and-out number 9 and all of that, I think in general, we need refreshment, we need hunger, and that's why I'm all for Gordon coming in, because that kid has the hunger. Watching the Everton game or some of the Everton game yesterday, seeing him play, it wasn't yesterday, so I think it was on Saturday. Seeing him play, he has that quality. He has that, imagine having 2 Mason Mounts in that front 3 that, that run, that have that hunger. I think would work better for what Thomas Tuchel is trying to do with this team. So if that helps with having Aubameyang come in and being that transitional forward that can, at the end of all the plays that we make, finish off the goals, then man, I have to just say, bring him in.
We need him. We need him. Just forget your argument that he has a behavior. You can say behavioral issue or disciplinary issue. But again, thank you very much for that. Again, before I go to Ty, I want to quickly see how much I can oblige. Those in the chat, they've been brilliant. They waited for us during that heated debate, an enjoyable one indeed. I think the whole team will remain unsettled until the transfer window closes. We're still in a rebuilding process with new signings where teams will need to gel information, teamwork. I think I'll have Matt address that when I come back from the chat. Again, Mount also needs to be benched. And same with Havertz and Jorginho. They need, to see they are not, they are dispensable. But here's the thing. Again, the question is who starts when you drop the other person. It gets worse, actually. If you really want to pay attention, especially the midfield area, we don't have Kovacic, we don't have N'Golo Kante. Who starts when you drop Jorginho? That's the question. The more reason why we need to look in the window and find a player to come in and to help us, so that we have good numbers in that position, not just numbers. And again, Gilmore, I don't know his situation. Has he left? Because I've argued before, I think he can do a better job than Jorginho because he's a mashup of a defensive midfielder and a regista. Jorginho is traditionally a regista. I think he's just gradually learned how to fulfill the DM role, but he's not good at it. He gets out muscled, at paced almost nearly all the time when oppositions pay attention how weak he is in a you could say physical aspect of the game. Chukwuemeka is a hybrid Mikel Aros. I think he is. He has it's more a technique. You could say more in terms of dribbling is better than Mikel. And again, Aros, yes, in terms of his power, his build and everything, we need a strength and power. In the midfield, Jorginho is too weak and slow when the team presses us and bigger than us. He suffers. But Chukwuemeka's integration, I think it will be a slow process. But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts very sooner than later. Because Thomas Tuchel trusts him, and I don't think we're paying 20 million for him to, just sit on the bench all through. I think he gets a chance to start. It's not like he's better than some of the players we have there. Havertz, the fans, gloves, the love and all that. I think Havertz very soon. I think he's if his goal in the Champions League final is his credit card, I think it's probably in the minus right now, and the heat will soon be directed at him. Given that Timo Werner is no longer there, and we're Chelsea fans, we take it one by one. Once the person we're blaming leaves, we find another person to start blaming consistently, whether it's their fault or not. Well, but in this case, I think he's performed poor. He performed poorly, especially in this game against Tottenham. You can say he did a good enough job. Why Azpi at right wing back instead of Chalobah? I don't know. That's a question Thomas Tuchel himself would like to answer. Porter. Better than Tuchel. You think Potter is a good manager I've seen. I like the way that is, you can say his teams are well drilled in terms of tactics and all that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at Chelsea someday, but I think Jose Mourinho will probably happen before Potter.
Can I just say something to that comment just quickly?
Go ahead.
I don't think that it's a coaching problem. I think it's the personnel problem because Lampard was there. Lampard had the exact same problem. I think the last coach to get a real ride out of these players was Kante, and everyone after that had the exact same problem. So I have to disagree with that comment.
Okay. Reece is better at wing back. We know that, but I think the solution, I think you could say that the reason why he started there was just because to match the pace of Leeds United players. We knew before time. And actually, I have to be honest, I didn't know they still play with that, you could say tenacity, you could say tempo. I thought after the departure of Marcelo Bielsa, they dropped. They didn't play like this in other games I saw them. I think it was an approach specifically designed to startle us, and it worked. But that's by the way, NATO for 50 million is a no-brainer. We're not sure if we're looking at him or not. I don't know. Tuchel doesn't understand this Premier League. You could still argue that that's every now and then we lose to mid-table or bottom-table teams. You could argue that, but there's an argument that he doesn't have his team yet. Yes, he's made a few signings, but in the midfield area, you could say we don't have the players he wants yet there. Cut Koulibaly some slack. Just his third game in. No, nobody. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Not even, at least not right now. I think we're just saying that same issue of drawing players, pulling players by their shirts or dropping them back. That's the third time he got away with one against Tottenham. Maybe that's probably why he repeated it. He could argue. Don Raymond, please blame TT for all this mess. Don, how are you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. You joined late, but they say lateness is greatness. I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know. Pochettino is still a free. I don't want Poch at any time. He's one. If you followed him long enough, he's a good manager. But tactically, I think should I say he's stagnant? I think he's predictable. It's the same approach all the time. He doesn't mix things up that much. His teams are very predictable the way they play. So I really don't want him. So I'm going to come back to the panel. Matt, do you want to address this comment here, or do you want to overall tell us what you think about the team's overall performance during that game, or do you want to talk about this? Up to you.
Which question? This
one. Sorry, I didn't see the comments.
He says, I think the whole team will remain unsettled until the transfer window closes. I don't understand that argument. Maybe you want to respond to it. And then it says, we're still in a rebuilding process with new signings where teams will need to, where the team will need to gel and formation teamwork will start to work.
It was the point I made, Coach. That players.
Yeah, just let Matt come in. Let Matt come in.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
Wait, I thought Ty was coming in.
No, it was you. It was you that I asked specifically.
Let Ty go in. Sorry, I'm doing something. Ty, you go in.
All right, Ty, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is true. I mean, especially with I think you made mention of the Koulibaly mistake, and he did it. I mean, he did it in all three games where he pulled the player back. He did it against Everton. He did it against Spurs. I think he's still adjusting to the intensity and the difference of leagues, so that's going to be an issue as well. I mean, Cucurella, although he's used to playing in a back three formation, the system is different, the approach is different, and the demand is different. I mean, he looks as if he's already gelled into the team, but I still think that his decision making in terms of crossing and things like that is still not consistent enough. He does do it, and he does do it more than we had seen before in the past. I mean, Sterling. I think Sterling still has to understand that he's not a Man City where he'll make those quick passes, run to the box, and then the ball meets him and he can take a shot at goal. So I think there's still time that's needed for them to gel. I mean, yes. Two of the three are players who have been in the game long enough to have experience. But I mean, when you're used to playing at a club for so long, I think both have played a maximum of 6 years at one club. They still need time to adjust to a different team, and they need to understand, especially Sterling, that this is not a team where you're guaranteed to get more than one opportunity. So when you get that one opportunity, you have to take it. Next to the final chance you have for the rest of your season. You have to do that, and it's unfortunate, but that is the case. And the creativity for attackers is not even the highest. But I think there's still some time needed for them to adjust to the new team, and plus it'll be the same thing with Fofana as well. If we get him and Aubameyang or Tony, whichever player we go for in the attack, if obviously we sign them or we're able to really poach them from their clubs.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ty. Matt, how about you? Overall, your thoughts on the game? Anything? What do you think we need to do to, fix the issues that you noticed on that day?
I mean, there's a lot of issues to focus on, especially in our attack, and we can discuss our midfield too. But mainly our attack is when we need someone who can just finish. Mason Mount and Havertz are players who I hope I always hoped they would become good, but then they never did. And I think it's time we stop giving them leeway. I think it's time, if offer comes in for any of these players, I think it's time to go. But looking at we can look at some positives and say Cucurella was average at best, and some of his signings, I guess, is a positive thing. But Gallagher and Jorginho, I've as much as I love Jorginho, he's a player who can't play by himself. He needs someone there. De Jong is a must. Bissouma, Tchouaméni, Kamara, we missed out on those guys. De Jong is our last option at this moment because I don't think we're going in for Neves. He needs to come in and definitely support Jorginho, because I think De Jong should be coming in, and then Jorginho, Kovacic, and Kante should be the rotational people. But at the moment, it's pretty much just Jorginho and whoever's free. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about attack. I think you were right, Coach, that a lot of people weren't going to sit here and blame Koulibaly, Reece James, and what's his name, Silva, but they were really, really bad. The thing is that we don't criticize them as much is I think they show up more times than drop. So, but again, it's still something to discuss. They did have a poor game and it shows. That's why remember Coach when I said I don't want Reece James playing right centre back, and you were saying no, this guy needs to play right wing back. He needs to stay there. And let's move on to the next one, because again, we had a great game last week and we had a bad game this week. It's something that only time will tell. We're at the start of the season, but this definitely isn't a stop. We need to definitely sign more players.
Yeah, but again, thank you very much. I appreciate that input. I think we need some signings. We need some people. We need midfield signings. Again, I argue till tomorrow we need midfielders who can create chances, whether deep or wherever. Again, but that's by the way. Again, anything else? Anybody else on the panel want to say anything else before we call it a day? I think it's been a brilliant show. But just quickly, someone asked me if we kicked out a Tuchel, who would be better answer. Coach Silva of Fulham, winner of the Portugal League. This coach is the next Jose Mourinho. Tuchel keep a try to shoehorn players. I don't want the next Jose Mourinho, except if it is more progressive than Jose Mourinho. My only problem, I like Jose, but you could argue he's not a progressive as a coach. But that's by the way. Anybody on the panel want to say anything else?
Yeah, I want to address Phantom in his comments tonight, and he's been always threatening to go on loan on Fulham.
He's still on loan on Fulham, actually.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to be so reactionary and support a club like Fulham. I want to see how you go in the so-called upcoming relegation battle, and how quick you're going to call to get every player out of that club. From there's going to be a number of losses to come. So I don't know how you handle that, and you already want to sack Tuchel, I think Phantom sacked the whole team pretty much. So I don't know how that works at Fulham, but I think you can't have the same attitude and energy at a club fighting relegation, and call for sacking everyone. Everyone's look. I think that's the biggest thing, and I'll make that last point for the night. Everyone's being reactionary and forgetting their expectation in before the season, forgetting that there's a lot of players we need to get out and a lot of players coming in and a transition period. We have one good game that we should have won and we got robbed, and that was the topic till this next game, and that was what we talked about, nothing else. And we have a bad game and it all falls apart, and everyone's trying to say we should have done this, get the Tuchel, Mendy player. Everyone went after every one of the players after one bad game. So to think it's going to be a long season if everyone's going to be up and down like this.
Yeah, it's really going to be a long season. Lampard's treatment of Kepa, Rudiger, and even Aspi and all this lost him in the squad. Bad management. Why do people think Tuchel started towards Billy, Ziyech, Pulisic, etc. think it went a ton of players? Sorry, Ty, what were you saying?
When you're done, I have some madness to share with you. There's some players, some shocking players that are unhappy with Tuchel.
Yeah, go ahead. Who are they?
The face of Chelsea, and the second coming of Roberto Carlos.
Sorry, can you say that again?
The face of Chelsea, quote unquote, and the second coming of Roberto Carlos.
The first is Christian Pulisic. Why the puzzle tie? Then who is the second coming of Roberto Carlos? Who's that?
Wait, did you say Pulisic?
Just say the players.
He's saying Mount and Reece James.
Just say the players, Ty. This is not a puzzle.
Declared Sherlock declared. He just said it.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard.
Is who?
Confused a lot of people.
It disgusts me to say the names because it's.
Sorry, who and who? Can you just say their names?
Mason, Mount Kilimanjaro, and Reece Carlos James.
Isn't happy with Tuchel for what? All right, let's share this breaking news, and I'm gonna schedule a show as soon as possible. From Pikes, it says breaking news, and then thank you for sharing that, Liam Lane. Chelsea and Barcelona have found an agreement for Aubameyang, and it can be closed in the next hours. 18 million plus 4 million add-ons. Yes. I think that's such as some nerves there. That's one I want to see. Again, anybody else on the panel want to say anything? Otherwise, let's call it a day. I gotta take my son to school and then prepare for the next show. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you all. It's been a brilliant argument. Again, one thing I love of everybody on the panel here, you understand that it's never going to end. You know, everybody will not suck up to your opinion. People have their own opinion. So we share our opinions. Again, we disagree to agree. There's always something to learn. And believe me, Ty, hold on one bit, please. I learned something from Declan today. I learned something from Lionel Jewell's argument, but I hope they're able to learn something from mine too. But I doubt, given Declan's argument, they nearly punched me. Thank God you guys are not standing in my face. Ty, okay, what are you screaming about? Anything you want to say?
Matt already said it, but I just saw it about me and how it could be closed in the next hours. Yeah,
that makes me happy. Again, that sorts out the day. That is maybe we'll settle down a bit. With that, I want to say thank you to everyone on the panel. And again, for those that joined late, I'm going to try to see what I can get from your opinions. Let's ready to sell Fofana according to CBS Sports. No, let them hold on to him and then see how much they'll get next season. I think Akasadea is fantastic and will surprise people. He's like Italian bar, like Lampard. This guy will, take Mount a position. You watch, hit taller, stronger, better passer in shooting already. Okay, we'll talk about that. It's Matt, get over to Jorginho. It's a liability and expensive penalty taker. Maybe that's another way to see it. To the panelists, Fulham is ahead of. So you know what? I'm gonna start seeing you as a Chelsea fan. It's as simple as that. Since you're rejoicing that you guys are ahead of us, Hutchinson will take Mount's spot. Breaking news. Yep. Thank you, AD Love for Blue. Chelsea and Barcelona have found an agreement for Aubameyang, and it can be closed in the next few hours. Yes, I've read that already from what Lamlin shared with me. Again, thank you. No, the people calling for TT to go don't want all the players to be sold. Maybe that's the case. A new manager is better than a massive overhaul on a squad that won us the Champions League not long ago. You tell that to Roman Abramovich if he was still the owner of the club. And Lukaku, I believe, would still be here. Again, I would say again, Leicester City wouldn't budge from the asking price of 18 million for Fofana, according to Sky Sports. But right now, we're seeing that we really do need a Fofana. So maybe it's time to get him. Just pay the money. Let me see anything else. We're shocking without Kante in the midfield. He's our glue, literally. That's a delicious comment, a good way to put it. Maybe we should look for another, who can fulfill that hybrid of 8 in a defensive midfield role. So when Kante is not playing, we'll still be okay. Amazing Mountain Havertz meets all this smoke. That's why I say we're going to host another show where we'll talk strictly. We'll analyze player performances, and everybody gets their own criticism. Again, fair enough. I think that's what we're going to do. More dumb. Okay. Coach scapegoat of the day is Mendy. No, it wasn't a scapegoat thing. It just started from my argument, and then he went the smokes, the fire. blew up from there. That's the way I want to put it. I understand it's good. It happened. There's always something to learn from it. Scapegoat Mendy, no, that's not the case. Now nobody's saying that he was the reason why we lost. We can take care of James. Thank you, Phantom. No, thank you for what? Two things I will say. Yep, and then where are the two things I'm waiting for? Chelsea is in need of okay. Again, thank you very much. I'm going to keep every of the comments here. And Lala says, yeah, treat him well. He deserves it. He has pulled us out of the mold and made us a dream again. Largely, okay, to take him. Thanks, Alba, and good luck. I think Barcelona they really wanted to keep him because he scored 11 goals in 7 games for them. That's not easy. But that's, by the way, here says two things I have to say. One, when you remake a teams, there will be disaster in the front end. That's the truth. There was no need for this massive overhaul. Playing without a striker is to put it mildly dumb. Well, that's the manager's preferred approach to the game, and getting a striker just doesn't make sense. Hey, people says Gunplay. Hey to you too. I hope you're doing well. I think with that, I'm going to call it a day. How many comments do I have here? If Tuchel is the problem of Chelsea, how many players have improved under him? Does he fall out with players too quickly? Why are the players not given 100% in most games? I can't answer that question. Maybe in another show. Again, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Coach Chris. Thank you to Just Viola. Thank you to Lolo, a Barcelona fan. Lolo, I haven't seen you in the new channel on Soccer Perspective. You need to come. Take your spanner there to help monitor the chat. And thank you, Where's Just Viola? Thank you to Phantom. Thank you to Ike IC. Thank you to Just Viola. Thank you to all the mods for helping keep the house clean. I cannot thank you guys enough. You're the reason why it's been a brilliant show, a brilliant debate overall, and I loved it, and I hope every of the panelists here enjoyed it. Thank you guys. Again, see you guys in the next show. God bless us all, and bye.
Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess. What's happening next? You got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson.